Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to yet another episode of the Sports Muse podcast. We just had a technical malfunction, so we were actually live with nobody besides me and old Jimmy. Jimmy, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Still getting used to you calling me Jimmy. Very awkward.
I don't know why it's like only when we do YouTube shows I call you Jimmy. Is
I
literally.
think I bring a personality, you know.
First thing I want to do is I want to thank Clubhouse Cards for hooking me up with this sweet setup. This new studio that I'm doing. I got my autographed OJ Simpson helmet right here. I have an autographed Mike Allstott helmet. I have this helmet's I think so cool. It's like a half and half Miami Dolphins and Pitt helmet for Dan Marino. I've never seen it anywhere else besides at Clubhouse Cards up by South Hills in Pittsburgh. And then I got my autographed Hines Ward jersey from the movie Dark Knight, which, I'm obviously a comic book fan and I'm a football fan, so works out. And then Bo Jackson, one of my favorite athletes of all time, and I think is the greatest athlete to ever walk this earth, autographed jersey. So I'm really psyched about this new setup. And, again, guys, if you have the chance, check out Clubhouse Cards with some of the coolest stuff. I'll link it in my profile.
You said the greatest athlete of all time, but you didn't say LeBron James.
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here.
What, do you not? You don't like LeBron?
Anybody who doesn't know, I'm a pretty big hater of LeBron James. Not a fan, to say the least.
Kevin won't even admit that he's good.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
So he's not in the top 20 of all time.
That's such a lie. No, he's an extremely talented guy. It's just
top 10.
I think he's the second greatest player of all time.
Oh, okay. That's an improvement. Wait,
yeah, I definitely
number one for you then.
MJ, 100%.
So you think LeBron's better than Kobe?
Yeah. So this is like a weird opinion, but
this is like shocking to me.
I would rather, like, if I'm starting a franchise and I get like peak Kobe or peak LeBron, I would rather have Kobe because I know exactly what I'm going to get. And I know exactly, there's no ifs and buts about it. He's going to take the last shot. You get the good with the bad. LeBron just like, the fact that he no-showed, the NBA finals when he was going against, I don't want to say no-showed, but was not his best performance against Dallas. It was pretty bad. Was really scared to shoot jumpers against San Antonio. I don't know. I'm not crazy about him, but
yeah, they're obviously them coming back and beating the Warriors. So I think like some of the best drama in NBA history. But we're talking about fights tonight. I don't mean to derail.
We completely got sidetracked already. We made it 3 whole minutes and we just talked about hoops.
I mean, let's talk about another bald head and Ben Rothwell.
I'm gonna be honest with you. My degenerate gambling side, I did put a lot of money down on OSP. Not because I'm the biggest OSP fan, but I think Ben Rothwell's all kinds of washed. Who did he just go against, man? Who was his last fight?
Was it Orlowsky?
No, it was Stefan Struve.
Yeah, I knew it was another semi experienced fighter, and by that I mean washed up. But yeah,
well, so I'm never, Stefan Struve's always been kind of lackluster. For a guy who's 7 feet tall, doesn't know how to use a jab. So I was like, I'm gonna bet Ben Rothwell. I feel great about it. It's gonna be an easy one, and he essentially got kind of lucky and won the fight.
Yeah, it wasn't a great fight.
No, it was pretty terrible. So yeah. I'm feeling good about OSP coming up, getting stronger. He's a great athlete.
I like OSP, man. I think if you remember before John Jones became, decision John Jones, it felt like he was the one that kind of gave him the most trouble.
Sure.
He kind of stumped Jones. Though I think that was just kind of the beginning of the new John Jones that we had, the circle out for 5 rounds.
Sure.
But, so what all we got on this card, man? I kind of know, but I've also been busy all day. My brain's a little fried. I want to sit back and drink a Leinenkugel and take a look at this card and see what's going on.
Now, my podcast is, brought to you by Clubhouse Cards. Is that what yours is brought to you by?
Yeah, for today, sure. Let's do it.
So we have Michael Johnson coming up, which I know some people aren't the biggest Michael Johnson fan. I like him. He's always a fun fighter at the very least. We got Andre Olofsky fighting tonight. You know, the Pit Bull's back. He's fighting Felipe Lins.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. And then we have Ray Borg versus Ricky Simone, which should be a pretty fun scrap.
Did Ray Borg make weight?
Scramble. What's that?
Did Ray Borg make weight?
I believe so, yeah.
Wait, this is flyweight, right? Or did he move up?
I believe it's flyweight. Yeah, let me double.
Because Ray Borg said if he missed weight again, he'd never fight, and then he missed weight, so he's fighting again. So he's apparently a liar.
And what else did we got tonight? Oh yeah, Drew Dober versus Alexander Hernandez. Well, should be a fun one. Two kind of guys who are on the outside looking in, but you know, younger talent. I feel like I'm not as high on Drew Dober as some people, but no, I mean, I'm excited for that one. And then the main event, dude, Glover Teixeira refuses to like leave because he's still relevant, which is really shocking.
Yeah, and honestly, he's kind of put together, I think, 2-3 wins. And I thought his last fight, if I remember, I didn't think he looked spectacular, and the age was really starting to show.
Sure.
It's just hard because, like, you know, if he beats Anthony Smith, like, I mean, there's definitely other people that deserve a title shot first, but, like, where does that leave Glover? Right?
Yeah, well, that 205 division's just, it's
bad, but I actually think it's getting a little bit better.
Well, so it didn't look bad when
maybe. Actually, it's pretty fucking bad.
When oh my goodness. Why am I blanking on his name? Your boy who did the worm and dislocated his shoulder.
No, Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker, like it was exciting with him. You're like, okay, like, you know what I mean?
Don't take it too fast.
Athlete. Yeah. And then he just isn't good.
Well, I don't know if he's necessarily not good. I think he has like a lot of upside, but I agree. He's not ready for John Jones at all.
Well, Nikita Krylov absolutely owned him, like just kept taking him down. And
that's right. I forgot. I see. My bad. I actually forgot about that. He got outclassed in that fight pretty bad. I remember it being when Corey Anderson knocked him out.
Yeah. Which Corey Anderson's not bad. Like, yeah, hey, everyone gets caught. Like, I wasn't I didn't put that hold out against them, but it's when, you know, Nikita came out there and just manhandled him.
It was a decision loss. The Walker took it pretty well. I still think there's an upside. Like, I think he has a lot of holes in his game, but I mean, who knows? It's going to be dependent on who he ends up with as far as the camp goes. Because I'm not sure what camp he's out of, actually. I thought he started training with a more legitimate camp, but
he's been bouncing around a little bit because I think he's trying to find the right fit.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean, so Michael Johnson, what weight class is he fighting in tonight?
55, I believe. No, I think he's at 45. I lied.
Yeah, because didn't he go all the way down to, I want to say it was 35, right?
No, I think he's stuck at 45. Which, I don't know, I thought was kind of a weird choice because he wasn't doing too bad at 55. And then at 45, he started off pretty hot and then just was reckless, got KO'd a few times.
I mean, he's a good starter and then generally falls apart. That seems to be a recurring theme in Michael Johnson's fights.
And I don't know if he has like initially good game plans coming out or what it is, but he comes out strong, he comes out fast, and then it seems like the opponent adjusts to Michael Johnson, but Michael Johnson doesn't adjust to the opponent.
Yeah, it does make you wonder. He has a pretty good power.
This
really quite fast hands. I will note that Michael Johnson's usually pretty ripped up, and he's obviously not fat. I'm not saying that, but he does look a little looser than normal. So I kind of just noticing that from the walkout, but I kind of expect that with the circumstances that we are under, right?
Yeah, he almost looks like I don't know, skinny fat in a way. Like, I don't mean that like Michael Johnson again would absolutely maul me, and I don't mean that as like a shot against him.
He just looks a little looser. He just looks a little looser. That's all.
Just like he looks a little thin in his arms, but he looks a little soft in this midsection. Not kind of, but
he still
we're
has
also
visible abs, of course. Let's just put that out there. Like he actually has visible abs. We're just being assholes. But
All right, so we got to make sure when we start this first round, we get it synced up.
Who are you taking? 20-15.
You know what? So I almost put money on this fight. I just like Michael Johnson, like the veteran here. I know exactly what I'm gonna get from Michael Johnson, good and bad. But I'm going Michael Johnson.
I'm gonna take Keith Peterson over the Budweiser. Dude, what did you? By the way, I am not picking Michael Johnson. That's all you need to know. I have no faith that I don't know.
All right, let's see. The fight's getting ready to start for you, right?
Yeah. We're at round one. I'm at 456.
You're at 450. Oh man, so I'm behind you.
I can pause, no big. Just let me know.
I'm at 450, 454, 453, 452, 451, 450, 49, 48, 47. Yeah. We good?
Yeah, we're good. 45.
Hey, all our viewers out there, we're under 1,000 right now. People watching. Make sure you sync up, guys.
Well, I think
our only viewer right now is either my parents or Scott.
I'd like to say shout out to Mama Brumley. Essentially a second mom to me. Wonderful. Junior, I'll see you in World of Warcraft. Scott, thanks for letting me live at your house for 4 years and not pay anything towards food that I ate. Appreciate it. Hey, what do you feel? So I always notice this, and Robbie Lawler does it a lot, and Sam Alvey does it a lot. How do you feel about when a fighter comes out at the beginning of a fight and immediately circles with their back almost on the fence? Like you're kind of seeing it here from Moises. I don't know if I'm saying that right. We broke down the Anthony Pettis fight, and I said that's exactly what drives me crazy about Anthony Pettis. Yeah, he does it too.
He knows people want to back him against the fence, and then he lets people back him against the fence. Honestly, I think what we saw Anthony Pettis this past Saturday might be the best Anthony Pettis I've seen in a while. He looked like he actually had a slightly modified game plan, like he wasn't going to be back down. But yeah, it always drives me crazy, especially because not that Michael Johnson wrestles a ton, but he can wrestle. He just doesn't use it. And when you're putting yourself against that back fence, you don't have room to escape, his looping shots. Also, if he does get stung, he has that ability to press you up against the fence and try to recover. So I'm never a fan.
Yeah, it just seems like kind of odd when you're conceding ground. And I know some guys like to do it because they're hoping to actually get the guy to press the action so they can counter. Also, I've noticed a lot of wrestlers enjoy doing it. You know who else did it? Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley does it a lot, actually.
Now, he has a different circumstance because, the whole idea is usually when you have someone against the fence, you rush them and they don't have the room to escape. But everyone's so scared of Woodley's power that he can do whatever he wants and it doesn't matter. And he doesn't have to press forward and, he gets to conserve his energy. So yeah, he's a really interesting style.
Yeah, he is. And you know what? Usman went through the fire and just put him up against the fence. And that's what we saw for 5 rounds. And it was masterful because no one had done that to Woodley before. But I don't know. I feel like I don't love giving up ground. Like I know when I compete in jiu-jitsu, I have to be first. I like getting in the middle of the mat and just being first.
Yep.
But I guess it's probably also just a game plan / mindset going to the fight. Dude, Michael Johnson's hands are always impressive. It's crazy.
They're always fast, man.
What was wild is what I rewatched him versus Nate a little while ago. And, Nate's not a fast guy, but somehow Nate was like making Michael Johnson look slow, which is like, I don't know. I think that's the best Nate Diaz I ever saw.
Oh, no, that's exactly what I was just going to say. Like, I don't think we've seen a Nate Diaz in better shape.
He's cut up quick.
Oh, yeah.
He had been coming off a year layoff, too, because that was right after he had lost the title fight.
Yeah, he was definitely a lot more motivated than what we saw last time he was out. Like, not that he wasn't motivated for Masvidal, but money can do that to you.
Yeah, definitely. Michael Johnson's putting it on him, man. He's throwing some knees, mixing it up really well, some good leg kicks. But I'm worried. If this goes to round 2, does Michael Johnson do a Michael Johnson and fall apart? Like,
I mean, clearly this guy needs to adapt because Michael Johnson's walking him down right now. He's not landing anything clean, but this dude's being walked down.
Yeah, it's weird with Michael Johnson. It feels like he had so much upside, and then obviously had some rough goes, and now he is kind of the veteran, but like not a ton to show for it. Never in a title fight. He finished Tony Ferguson, right? That was it. Like that's his claim to fame.
Did he finish Ferguson?
I thought he knocked out Tony Ferguson. I'm pretty sure.
Let me see.
I could be wrong. I might be thinking of another like elite fighter.
Maybe thinking of a different Tony Ferguson.
Might have been Poirier.
He did not. Yeah, he knocked out. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm thinking Poirier. My mistake.
And the crazy thing is, he knocked out Dustin Poirier, but between that 6-fight streak, he was 1-5. He lost to Beneil Dariush, he lost to Diaz, he lost to Habib, he lost to Gaethje, and he lost to Darren Elkins. Now, don't get me wrong, Gaethje, Habib, Nate, I get. Dariush, I always thought was underrated, but Darren Elkins, nothing against him. Like he's not a super high level athlete. Do
you remember that fight? Because Michael Johnson looked like a phenom at 145 in the first round, and then he just fell apart. I don't know if the weight cut was hard for him or what, but that was his first fight at 145, and he got melted.
You know what? He did beat Tony Ferguson by decision.
I thought he beat Tony Ferguson because that was when people were like, oh, man, hey, this Michael Johnson guy's for real. He has good hands. He kept up with Tony's pace, too. I remember watching that fight. I thought it was Tony. And then he sparked Dustin Poirier. And you're like, well, here we go. This guy's elite. But obviously, like you said, 1-5. And then it just seems like he's taking a lot of damage or something. Like even in his face, you can see he's wearing it a little more.
Oh, sure.
But sure, also he's getting older. So
yeah, he just rested so much on his athleticism and his power to carry him. Oh wow,
I like that. See, that's a guy who was like, I lost round 1, and he came out and he's trying something different. Do you know his
record? Sure everyone's synced up: 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45.
He's going to attempt a heel hook. He's not doing it great.
Oh my, he tapped.
Oh, we got it.
He tapped.
That was that was weird because he looked like he was going for a straight ankle lock, but then whenever he reaped the knee, it looked like he was going to go to a heel hook. And I think he might have done not a heel hook, but a knee bar there. That was odd.
Wow.
I got to see how, man, what did I tell you? Michael Johnson falls apart second round. Dude, it happens every time. Poor guy.
Dude, and it's the second round. They're slippery. Dude. You rarely ever see that. Like, you know what I mean? Like later in a fight.
That was wild. I love a guy who clearly feels pretty confident in his submissions, literally running across the octagon and just grabbing the leg. Love it.
Oh my goodness.
I love it. I wish we saw more urgency like that.
Instead of trying to ride him up against the fence, he got the single and just pulled guard.
So really interesting too, because I'm so used to watching jiu-jitsu where you can't reap the knee there. See, at first I thought he was going to straight ankle lock, but then you'll notice he pushes the knee to the other side. Yeah, that's an ankle lock. That's a straight ankle lock. Yep. Wow. I'm not listening to commentary, so they might be talking about it. But yeah, did you see how he drove his knee over? Like I actually thought he was going to maybe try a knee bar or something, but no, I think though he looks concerned about his knee. No, I don't know. It's a setup for a straight ankle lock, though. It's very weird seeing people reap the knee, by the way. In jiu-jitsu, that's illegal. So
that was
it's a Michael Johnson performance. You knew what you were going to get.
And that's exactly why I didn't bet on Michael Johnson tonight, because Michael Johnson does Michael Johnson type things.
Look great in round 1. If it was a 1-round fight, best in the business.
It's not even like he gasses hard. Like that's the head scratching part.
No, he's just like he's almost always in good shape.
Yeah, like I mean he's breathing there, he's sweating, but oh, hey Nuts, is it your first name? Can you see the comments we got?
Oh yeah, my first name it actually is Dees. It's just spelled James. It's really weird.
Is it a French name? Is that why it's?
Yes, it's James, which in Dutch is D's.
You know what? I don't know who it was, but I did have somebody. So I try to post all my stuff to like as much social media as I can, and I actually had somebody on Reddit impersonating me.
What?
Yeah, I had somebody.
Like the Sports Muse or Kevin Brumley?
Sports Muse. They weren't posting from Sports Muse, but they were like posting the stuff as it were like their content. Person's name was Great Scott, and they actually kicked him off of, they eliminated one of his posts, deleted it, and they were riding him pretty hard. So I'm glad they got down on him, because this stuff just has to come to an end. People impersonating other people. Identity fraud's a real problem, Jim.
I mean, I agree, and you only get one. Am I right? Build that wall. Now, I'm not listening to the post-fight interview, but I'm assuming he's saying, yeah, I ran across the octagon, I grabbed that shit, and then I tapped him out. That's what I would say.
I'm surprised. Like, I don't know. In a way, aren't you kind of surprised they're still doing the post-fight interviews?
So it's actually kind of interesting. They're all tested, so theoretically, it's fine, right? Like, would I want it? No. But then again, I guess if you're accepting a fist fight, shirtless, sweating on another dude, breathing in his mouth, and there's blood I mean, like, you're probably okay with DC, who's been tested probably over 4 times now, holding the mic to your face, I guess.
It's just so tough because, like, when was the last time these guys were tested? Where they tested this morning? Because if they went out and had room service, for lunch, you can walk around with it and not have a problem. So it's tough.
It is tough. It's a ballsy thing to be putting on these fights and things like that. So are you guys' sports canceled for the fall where you're at, or no?
We haven't gotten word yet, but we keep hearing so many different things, and like I'm sure we've heard some of the same stuff, but I'm also sure that some of the stuff is local, and I don't know if these are real ideas or whatnot, but I've heard ideas of breaking down the alphabet and sending kids in waves.
What?
So like So you'd have less people in the school at once. So like, let's say you did like A through F on a Monday, and then on a Tuesday, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff.
And is the rest then take home, like home school?
So yeah, I think you would be doing online stuff for the kids that aren't there those particular days. Again, I don't know if that's some person posted on Facebook or, whatever.
It's so hard to decipher that. And really, until it's decided, there's almost no need in, even thinking about it. Have you heard anything about football season, though? That's what I'm curious about.
I haven't, no.
They canceled it here.
Really?
Yeah, like at least in the counties here, the county I'm in and the neighboring counties, there will be no sports in the fall at all.
I mean, I know the coaches and stuff like that, we're still planning on, having a season, but obviously we can't practice.
There's just so many people, right? Like football is hard. Like the NBA, in MLB, actually, I think could make a pretty good case to be okay, right? Even the UFC, it's 2 people. You got your corners, and you can really trim the fat there. And let's just take the NFL: 52 people on a roster, and then the staff, and then just to run the equipment that are there. I mean, it's just. Whew.
Yeah, it's definitely as far as sports goes, like it's the biggest like group of people that you need.
Yeah. Probably the most intimate too. Like.
And I was having a conversation, today, because some people are like, "Oh, when's school going to come back?" And you hear some people, they're planning on starting back up in the fall. And then some people are like, "Oh, they're going to start back up in spring." Well, like until they have a vaccine, how can they make anybody go back? Because isn't this the problem you're going to face? So, let's say little Billy lives with his grandparents, right? And his mom doesn't want him to go to school because if he, contracts the coronavirus, comes back home, gives it to them, they pass away. then you're held liable. So then the school goes, okay, Billy, you don't have to come.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, Todd hears it. Well, why is Todd going to come if Billy doesn't have to?
Yeah, that's rough.
So I'm not sure really what
there's no easy answers, right?
Yeah.
But all I know is that the fights are back.
I really am, dude. It was so nice having a sporting event on Saturday.
Oh, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was fantastic. Everyone, I saw so many people on like the MMA subreddit talking about how they actually hate, like, oh man, without the audience, it just wasn't as much fun. Dude, I loved it. I mean, there are moments where, like, in the fighter intros and stuff, you like hearing the crowd roar, but there was just something super intimate about hearing each body kick land. It really made it register a little more that, like, how much damage, and not to mention we had some brutal fights.
Oh, absolutely.
The thing I'm worried about is if the UFC is going to be putting on like UFC 250, that card is so bad. It could do more damage. If it's the only thing on TV and more people are watching it, it could actually do damage if it's that bad of a card, right? Like,
well, in a weird way, sometimes when you get those cards that are borderline irrelevant, sometimes those cards do really, really well, and there's like the best as far as like entertainment value, just with no name power. I mean, maybe that's the thought. It feels like looking at 250 looks like a card that they just announced, and there's 2 months until the card actually happens.
Well, when is that pay-per-view?
It's in June, isn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, we got almost a month, probably a little less. I'm assuming it's the beginning of June. So
yeah, I think it's the beginning.
They're going to add another fight to it. They have to. So is it Tyron Woodley versus like Gilbert Burns, or is it John?
No,
Jones?
That's before. That's the Gilbert Burns. Tyron Woodley's a fight night.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no way that's the card. There's no way.
Unless they scrap that fight night and throw it up to 250.
They have to have. But yeah, what are they going to do?
Let me look.
Dude, I mean, 250. Let's just take a look at this 250 card. And folks, I watch everything that does most MMA, like any Bellator, I'm usually going to watch, right? I don't know. This card might be the worst pay-per-view card of all time. They actually still have a to be determined on that. So there is another fight going to go on this. Yeah, wow. Okay, so Amanda Nunes, Felicia Spencer, we all know how that's going to go. See, this is the one problem. Hey, what up? We got a hey cashew. Saw that.
Do you know who that is?
No, but I'm assuming nuts cashews that he's talking to the nut of the group.
You are a nut.
I sure am. Here's my only issue with fighting during the coronavirus. What if Amanda Nunes has a terrible camp and comes in and is just totally off, and then she loses to Felicia Spencer, and then that legacy is tarnished because of a half-cocked camp?
You're right.
And you say, yeah, that's just the fight game. But at the same time, it's like, are we getting cheapened performances? Like, especially for, like, did we see the best Tony Ferguson possible?
The more and more I think about it, and we talked about this a little bit in the in our breakdown post-fight, I feel like that second weigh-in, the fact that he weighed in like 2 weeks prior.
Oh, dude, I think that was a huge error on his part.
I definitely feel like that had repercussions. I don't know how it couldn't. He just never. I don't know. He just never looked.
He never got off.
Never looked clean.
Nope. He looked, and honestly, like, I don't think Ferguson's like exceptionally. Like, he's not as fast as like a Michael Johnson, right? But he's not slow. He's not in slow motion, right? He looked slow. He looked really slow in that fight. And who knows? Like you said, it's probably the weight cut. I think it is because, contrary to popular belief, he's actually a human being, whether people want to admit it or not. And that takes a lot out of you to cut that much weight, and then to cut it again in 2 weeks. It's not good for you. It's just not. So, but again, that's my only issue with potentially fighting during this pandemic is, like, I want to see the best versus the best at their best, right? Like, I was worried about Khabib and Tony happening because I don't want half-baked Tony versus Khabib.
Oh, sure.
I just don't. So you see, Khabib's
No, I'm
father's
with
in
you
a coma.
100%. Who's?
Khabib's dad's in a coma. It's not looking
No,
good.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he got. I think he was having heart surgery. I don't know if it's COVID really. I think they said he thought he had pneumonia, but they took him from Dagestan, which I guess is just in shambles right now, like with Corona. They said it's very. We have a comment in the section. I'll get back to my point. Is that your only issue with coronavirus is if Amanda Nunes loses? Yeah, pretty much. No, I'm just saying that's my issue with the fights happening. But fair enough. I should probably state that a little better. But yeah, Khabib's dad was taken to Moscow, and hopefully everything works out with him. A coma is never ever a good sign of things.
Well, he was such a big part of his training.
I mean, not only him, but everyone. He's a legend.
That's tough.
Yeah, Connor actually put out a tweet about
related.
it. What was it?
I said I hate just to think MMA like related, like
Yeah.
The dude's in a coma. Like I'm sure he's not worried about his son's fights or his son's legacy.
Yeah, but where does Khabib stand? Because he's said he's his dietitian, his personal trainer, his MMA trainer, his sports psychologist. I mean everything he does is for his dad. I mean he's stated that on many occasions. So it does make you wonder what kind of impact that would have if something were to happen. But just overall, it's really sad. I guess Khabib's dad was a huge force in the community of keeping kids out of extremism and drugs and crime. And he's looked at as almost like a national treasure over there. Without any controversy. Some people might feel like there's a controversy with Khabib. Some people don't like him. But I guess his dad is unanimously considered just a great guy. So
it's tough, man.
Yeah, hopefully everything goes well. So Arlovsky is fighting a guy that I have never heard of. So are we going to have a 3-rounder Andre Olofsky cardio kickboxing class and gets a decision win?
Well, I got a text from John Anik this morning, and he said the Pitbull's back. So
right on.
Yeah. Because I don't know if I have a picture of John Anik. We're really good friends. And me and Antonio Brown, we took a picture together. We're really good friends.
Yeah.
And but he's not good friends with my brother because my brother asked him to take a picture with him, and he was just like, "Nah, dog."
Yeah. Has there been such a change in a fighter than Andre Arlovsky, like being an absolute savage, when he bust onto the scene, and it was like, how long is someone going to last against him, to becoming literally a decision person only?
I mean, well, what was weird, what I didn't expect? I didn't.
Listen, the bear was muzzled. It was clear as day. Wow.
How about when Andre Arlovsky left the UFC, his chin was absolutely shot. Okay.
Yeah.
And then he went and fight on other promotions, and his chin still wasn't good.
Affliction.
But he came back to the UFC, and he actually had a better chin than he did prime, which was weird.
Yeah. Real weird.
He did kind of have a little bit of a resurgence.
So I guess a lot of his issues were he just went on a party spree when he won the belt. And they said that he literally was just on a bender for 5 years. He was hanging with the cowboy doing cowboy shit. I guess that's what cowboys do.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, man. Yeah, Andre Arlovsky should take this one, by the way. I definitely am not picking against Andre Arlovsky against whoever the hell this guy is.
Well, here's a question that Mike Goldberg texted me this morning, and he said, "Is Andre Arlovsky beatable?"
Ooh, Tim Sylvie would say yes, while wearing his championship belt in Kroger.
That makes sense.
So Arlovsky is the underdog in this fight. So apparently, I don't know what's good with Felipe Lins, but yeah. I don't know much about Felipe. Do you know anything about him?
I've A little bit, not much. I got to be honest with you.
The UFC website says he's 0-0. He's 0 foot tall and he doesn't have a profile on UFC.com. So I feel confident in my Andre Orlowsky pick.
Let's see.
Hey, UFC, maybe update your website. The guy is literally on national TV and you don't have a profile for him. Seems bad.
Well, once the pit bull's done with him, I doubt he'll even have a life.
And we got Ray Borg against Ricky Simone up next. That'll be interesting. And by interesting, I mean I don't like watching Ray Borg fight.
Is it Ricky Simon or Ricky Simone?
It's by Simon. Makes a lot more sense.
But, you know what we're really good at? We're a really good team of mispronouncing people's names.
Well, I like to cover all the bases of being insulting by pronouncing it wrong, so I don't want anyone to feel left out.
I got a text this morning from one of my favorite fighters, and it was Calvin Qatar.
Oh, yeah. Qatar, whatever. At least Qatar sounds like guitar.
Dude, we're killing it, man. We have 3 viewers now.
Yeah, and 2 of them are my cats.
Denver.
For all you kittens and cats out there. Did you watch Tiger King?
I did.
Absurd. Did you know he sold tigers to the zoo in Morgantown?
Wait, there's a zoo in Morgantown?
Exactly. It's called Hovader's Petting Zoo, and you can go hold a tiger.
Didn't we go to school with a kid named Gary Hovader?
Yeah, I think we did, actually. Orlowsky looks like he's in pretty good shape.
I was honestly just thinking that.
But so Felipe's promo picture made him look like a fat shit, and he's not that fat of a shit, actually. He'll probably be on the show in like
55, 54, 53,
I'm at
52, 51, 50, 49, 48. You with me?
Now I'm with you. Apparently my internet's just beasting.
Well, it's not really hard when you live out in old Rough Creek.
I think you guys are talking enough about Arlovsky's big wins against Cabbage Carrera. All right, some classic Orlowsky stalling with a big errant right hand. How old is Andre Orlowsky now? 42? 41?
42, I think.
What, dude, if I look like that at 42, I deserve an award. Because I'm at 29 and I'm giving up. Some good leg kicks here. I feel
this is a pretty tough fight to watch. There we go.
Yeah, they're feeling each other out. All right, give him a break. Orlowsky's a slow starter. He doesn't usually get started till round 3 at the end. Ooh, he's in trouble. So why do fighters like to bounce their ass off the cage when they get anywhere near it? Have you ever noticed that? Is it just fun, you think?
Well, I think it's because on the sides of the octagons, there's a little divot there that some people will stick their toes in to like stop takedowns. So I think they're afraid to like step in it and like.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. That's actually, I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that. I thought you were going to be sarcastic. That's actually
no, I think because I thought the same thing. Oh,
big right. He rode that back.
Wow.
So this guy actually seems pretty fast. He's a little short because Orlowsky's not exceptionally tall.
No.
Huh. That's the thing with these heavyweights is just like random dudes come in, they have knockout power, and I don't know who they are. And I watch a shit ton of UFC and MMA, and it always ends up like the heavyweight division is just so ridiculous.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like it's so hard to bet on anything as far as the heavyweight division because of exactly what we saw Francis Ngannou do Saturday night.
Abandon all technique and just start swanging and banging.
Yeah. I mean, 20 seconds.
The right hand in that last flurry. Yeah, I'm at. What are you at time wise?
26, 25, 24,
yeah,
23. Okay.
So Orlowsky's definitely eating the bigger shots here in these exchanges. He did. I think he landed a left there, but he ate one too.
Yeah, this guy's starting to get Lynn's starting to get a little bit more comfortable, and he's just landing before Orlowsky can.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time Orlowsky knocked somebody out. Like it's been so long, and it's so weird because he used to like have death touch.
Well, I think I can answer that question for you.
Please do. Hey, you're not wrong.
Jeez, it's
So here's a good question. Would you, I don't know. Do you think, why is it that I find fights that happen in the ring to be way less intriguing? Like even kickboxing, right? Like,
ooh,
big right.
both upgraded. All right, this fight's heating up a little bit. No, I agree with you. I just like the octagon. Even though like it does drive me crazy when people stall against the cage, but I feel like we don't see that as much as we did like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think fighters have gotten better at circling off.
I think the biggest
Can I
trend.
say that? See, like Orlowsky just circled off right there, and that's why the pit bull's back.
Orlowski like doesn't do anything incredibly bad, right? Like he's actually.
Ooh, wow.
Ooh. Little side
Nice
kick there. I like that.
I like it. Jinx.
Pinch poke, you owe me a Coke. Kevin, when are you going to put on one of them helmets and start doing some get-ups? Let's go.
That's actually a good point by our most frequent guest here at the Sports Media.
Steel cage matches are much more exciting. I mean, it is a steel cage match, technically. He's not wrong. I read it in a book once. It was about a bunch of clowns getting out of a car.
I guess they're going to. I heard. I'm not 100% sure, but I heard they're going to dig up Superfly Jimmy Snuka's corpse, and they're gonna have him fight the child of the man he murdered back in the 80s. So that's actually going to be co-main at UFC 250.
It'd be a more competitive fight than Felicia Spencer versus man.
Okay, so you did kind of crap on that fight. I actually don't think that fight's gonna be that bad. Like Felicia's a legit like 45er.
Okay. Do you think she's gonna beat Amanda Nunes?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like it's better than some of the stuff we've seen.
No, honestly, might as well. I think it's a lot more interesting than some of her other matchups that we've seen, like Raquel Pennington. Like that was a sham. Yeah. Nunes is at the point now where she's just mythical being. So unless if she's fighting Cyborg, it's like whenever she gets beat, it's going to be a shock.
Took that shot.
Yeah, as I'm saying, you're right. His chin is better now in the end of his career. It's bizarre. He ate a couple bombs from Francis and didn't get cleanly not. Oh, actually, no, I'm pretty sure he ate shit. I'm pretty sure he like balanced on his nose, but he took a couple before that happened. Which is more than I can say for most people. Dude, if they put a cage on the God.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need more line and Kugel, boys. Kevin, where did you get all of that dank apparel in the screen? I mean, I see a half Miami Dolphins / Pitt helmet.
Wait, you see half of it?
I mean, I see the Pittsburgh side. I can't see I can't see through the thing, Kevin.
I thought you meant like the camera was cutting it off. I'm like, I see it perfectly fine. So this show has been sponsored, and they're probably not going to sponsor it anymore after they see this complete sham of talking about steel cage match in Hell in a Cell. But this show has been sponsored by Clubhouse Cards. They are about 5 minutes north of South Hills, PA. So you definitely got to check them out. They have everything. Dude, they had like Hulk Hogan autographed belts. They had this really cool picture of like Austin and Michaels staring down, autographed by both.
They need to get some Jimmy Nuts apparel in there from his short-lived but epic IWC Heavyweight Championship reign.
So they were talking like heavily about wrestling when I was there, and I was like, "Oh, did you guys watch any Independent?" And they were like, "Oh, he's like, I kind of got out of Independent about 10 years ago," and I was gonna be like, "Oh, well, you know." I was like, I know a guy who blood his knee.
Yeah, I've heard of that shop even before you had mentioned it though, and a lot of people enjoy it. They have a lot of product from what I've been told.
No, it's definitely really cool.
A hot commodity. It looks like honestly that Linz is pacing himself quite well. Orlowski's gas tank's pretty good. Usually,
Yeah, if it's
I mean, it's good for a heavyweight. It's damn good for.
he doesn't push the pace enough. Where
no, he's on his bicycle most of the time. It's unfortunate, man. I just remember how much I enjoyed whenever he rocked the fangs and had long hair. Like you'd never see anything like it.
I've never heard anything like that. That shot he took against Tim Sylvia again, dude. It sounded like a steel chair shot. It was bad.
Dude, is there a less likable guy than Tim Sylvia?
Nah, he's pretty hateable.
Yeah,
he's hateable then. He's hateable now.
Yeah, I can imagine. Who would you say has been your favorite guest thus far on the Sports Muse that you've interviewed? You have a great archive of and collection of interviews here in the short life of your channel. Who would you say is your favorite so far?
That's a tough one, honestly. Like everyone's like legitimately been so nice. Like legitimately.
Yeah, it seems like it.
I don't know. I would say like the one I was most excited about is like Levon Kirkland because I was such a big fan as a kid.
That was my favorite interview you had. Speaking of kids, I don't think Orlowsky's going to be having any anytime soon after that nut shot. This is brought to you by Jimmy Nuts. Is that good?
Yeah, that was.
Dude, I remember you wearing Levon Kirkland jersey to school, and do you know what story I'm telling?
I don't.
So, good hell in a cage. I just read that again. It's just so good. So yeah, with what was I saying? Oh yeah, you wear a Levon Kirkland jersey to school, and do you remember you had actually taken some food? We were in about 7th grade or 6th grade, and you took some food off my plate, and I wasn't happy about it. So I decided to take a handful of mashed potatoes and then whip them at you, and you were like, "This jersey costs like $80." And then I was like, "Just go ahead and hit me back." I was like, "It's only fair. Go ahead." I overreacted, and then you hit me in the face with a handful of mashed potatoes. And then we were cool. Then we were cool.
Yep. That's when they would have the old salad bar up front, and they would do like leftovers up there, and they had cream chicken over biscuits, and you took what probably was 6 pounds of mashed potatoes and gravy.
I was a big boy back then.
Like, I don't think that's hyperbole. I would say 6 pounds of mashed potatoes and gravy you took.
We were both well over 300 pounds. No.
You were not.
You know what I got that from? Dude, Madden. They left it in 2020. They had Madden 2019 and 2020. There's a line in the commentary where they're talking about offensive linemen. And the guy goes, "He's well over 300 pounds." It's like the most rude fucking thing you could say. Oh, man. All right, Olofsky has had his vasectomy and he's back in it.
Dude, it's unbelievable how much we're bumping right now on YouTube.
3,000 strong.
We're trending.
Yeah, YouTube's counter is broken. We have the real number back here. Ooh, big swing and a miss by Linz. Who do you think's winning this fight thus far?
Round one's tough to score. I would say Linz had round one. Round two has been kind of uneventful, and I always hate when people overestimate of how much pressure counts for the scorecards. Because
Orlowsky got tagged. He's sending it back.
I thought no, he's still got his wits about him.
Yeah, he just switched stances. I wonder if those leg kicks started bothering him.
I think it's Lynn's probably going up 2-0 after this, and Orlovsky's going to have to do a pit bull comeback.
Dude, how big is Herb Dean?
Herb Dean's a big dude.
Dude, he has to be like 6. Look, he looks bigger than both of them. I would say the only person who's really losing this fight are the fans.
Well, now Andre Orlovsky's not going to come on my show.
Nah, I'm just kidding, Pitbull.
So this is a good time for I'm sure everyone that's watching right now has already heard this, but I have next Tuesday Gray Maynard's coming on the show.
Hey, it's not black and white, it's gray. Maynard. Looking forward to it. That's going to be a cool interview. I'm excited to see the more MMA people you can bring on, and that we've been watching forever. Like we'd watch Chuck fights with your dad back in the day, and I don't know.
Yep.
It'd be really cool to get perspective from the pioneers of the sport, which I'm sure Gray will have a lot of great things to say. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, because he kind of was at like that tail end of like when the sport was kind of still pretty old school.
Yeah.
And then he was there kind of on the up and up when people like BJ Penn started being phased out, and Frankie Edgar was kind of the new thing at the lower weight classes. And I mean, I was thinking about this last night. I still don't think we've seen a fighter take more damage and not get the fight stopped than what Frankie Edgar took in round 1.
Oh, yeah, it was inhuman. That would have been stopped today.
He was dropped like 10 times and didn't have his feet under him for 3 minutes.
Yeah, him and then Lesnar Carwin are the two that I always think of.
Oh, that's a pretty good call.
Like Carwin probably should have been heavyweight champion. And I'm a Lesnar fan, but
yeah, I'm glad. And those kind of fights, I'm always glad that they let it play a little longer than wow,
big right hand over the top.
Yeah, that was a good counter.
I'll tell you what, Lynn's honestly looks pretty damn sharp.
I feel like he's better at I wish I knew more about him, but I feel like he's a better counter striker than he is leading.
Well, he seems like he doesn't waste a lot of movement. Like even his footwork, he doesn't move a ton, but when he does, it looks good. And he throws decent kicks too. A lot of times you see these heavyweights, they just don't throw any.
Yeah, well, some of them throw kicks, and they just don't have the flexibility, to actually do it.
Well, hey, one fight we didn't really talk about in the recap, and I wanted to ask you about it because it's upsetting. Is Greg Hardy becoming legitimate?
Dude, I think oh my goodness, I'm blanking on who he fought.
Pablo or something like that. No, seriously, I think wasn't it like Pablo?
That's definitely not Pablo.
Pablo Escobar. Hold on, let me look.
Yeah, look that up. It's something De Castro.
Ah, that's it. I was thinking that. Yeah, I mean, legitimately, I thought that was weird. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not saying it's rigged or anything. It was weird, man. He didn't throw a punch in 3 minutes.
I think he broke his foot and then he just quit fighting.
Yeah, your hands stop working when your foot's broken, I hear.
It was weird because it's like Hardy kind of checked a kick, looked like he hurt his foot, and then he just never did anything. Didn't look tired, just didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think the heavyweight's just the right division that if you're dedicated enough and you're also just happen to be a supreme athlete, that if you take your time and the UFC kind of coddles you a little bit, that you can probably make a career of it, man.
Sure.
Like, could you imagine how unjust it would be if he won the heavyweight belt? It'd be like, I mean, it's not happening. Literally not happening. No. I'd love to see maybe Reem come up on the short end of the stick against Walt Harris, and then they do Reem versus Greg Hardy.
That would be bad for Greg Hardy.
Yeah, it'd be real bad.
But you know what? Alistair cannot take him.
I didn't know Greg Hardy played Bane. We said, was there ever
my
favorite? we said who could be more unlikely than Tim Sylvia, and I think Greg Hardy is that guy. He's thrown an illegal blow to stop a fight. He cheated in a fight. And he has a domestic abuse charge. He's pretty bottom above the barrel.
Yeah, he threw a woman on a bed full of assault rifles.
Yeah, I guess he didn't mean to.
Oh man, yeah, Greg Hardy's not a good person, but it is good that he played Bane.
Yeah, it did play Bane. Oh man. Wow, big left. Lenz is starting to wear it a little more. See, you're right though. You're completely correct. He is a counter striker. His output is so much lower than Orlowsky, but I feel like he's had a better value on his punches.
Sure.
Orlowski's kind of getting the better of him here in this last round. Though I was teary-eyed for about a minute from left. Oops.
Speaking of
whoopsie daisy.
kicks.
Yeah, if you fall on a kick, you automatically get 10-8'd out here. That's underneath the new rules.
Rumor has it.
Yeah, it's underneath the monster Fox Racing rules. You actually penalize for grappling as well, because who wants to watch grappling? Am I right?
Apparently, Tony Ferguson thought so because he refused to grapple or even attempt.
Yeah, I think it's about time. Maybe I tried Minari. They like forever live in my memory.
I was on a different MMA account that I subscribe to, and was going through some of the comics, just reading them, and somebody put like Justin Gaethje's corner. Hey Justin, you're putting like everything on every shot. Take a little bit off so you don't wear out for the later rounds. Tony Ferguson's corner. Throw sand.
Yeah, that was the thing. Yeah,
so bad.
Just like Eddie kind of looking around, but might be time to throw out the Minari. It's like, what? They're going to give me some more advice on that, like how to set it up or why I should do that, or I don't know.
Like not a takedown, like not like, hey man, try to grapple and pull guard. No,
like it was a silver bullet. Not
and
great.
Like maybe that would have been decent advice if he didn't get his legs chewed up for 4 rounds before then.
Yeah, man. Gaethje's output was so impressive, and his gas tank was maybe even more. I mean, that was insane. What a fight. But I keep saying fight of the year, and I stand by the fact that I don't think it was competitive enough, which is crazy to say, but it just wasn't.
No.
Luque and Nico Price is more of a banger than that. And I think Shevchenko versus Wang, that was definitely the best.
That was a great one.
That was one of the best fights I've ever seen. Hands down.
That was definitely a fun one.
Do you think they're going to run that back? Could you imagine that fight without an audience?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a tough one.
Yeah, I've been miserable.
I think you meant it was Joanna versus her, right? Not Shevchenko.
Oh, my bad. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
No, I thought we were.
No, you're right. My bad.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, CTE, bro. Andre Olofsky picks up the win, and that had to be based off literally just output because, I mean, he didn't look terrible, but
no, I didn't I don't think that's robbery, but I definitely had
another
1-2.
Yeah, it's just another Andre Olofsky 3-rounder,
Well, okay, here's a question for you. Does this get the Pitbull in the title picture?
I wonder how much he makes per fight now.
If I had to guess, I'd probably say like just under 6 figures, probably to show.
It's kind of,
So he's
kind of
probably like 75.
He has to make more than that.
I'm thinking like at the low end.
Dude, Gaethje only made $250 to show. Did you? It's wild,
MMA
man.
pays are pretty bad.
Yeah, I feel like DC's feeling the social distancing pressure. Like he's real reaching that arm out. He's like, I don't want to be here, but I don't want Rogan to text me. Yeah, it's weird. Like when I wonder what keeps Arlovsky fighting. Like, is he just fighting for the money? Does he truly think he, can get back into the title contention? Or I always wonder the mindset of someone that is, clearly in this later stages of their career. Truthfully, it's kind of something like I relate to as far as like wrestling. Like when I decided to come back, it was like, so what am I doing? Because I don't have the goals of being in WWE anymore.
Sure.
Not that I just had the option and I turned it down or something like that, but like, getting legitimate looks earlier in my career, but coming back and knowing that like I have totally different goals and mindsets. It's just not something that I really want to do anymore. But I still loved wrestling. And it's like, well, so damage to worth, right? Like how much damage are you willing to take to keep doing something you love that you know is bad for you, right? Like without a doubt has probably taken years off my life. And that was something I struggle with. And I still like, even though I'm back, I'm only doing one show a month and I'm not doing 4 or 5 shows a week like I used to. And it's just like, there are times where I'm like, well, what am I doing? I don't think you ever want to be half in or half out on something that's that physical.
I mean, that's a lot of life, though. Don't want to be half in, half out. So,
You're right.
a question: Orlowsky versus Derrick Lewis next. Does Derrick Lewis have an opponent lined up next?
I actually don't. I don't think so. Let me check. But actually, to be honest with you, I actually don't hate that because it's kind of like shit or get off the pot for Olofsky.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I'd watch that.
And also, I don't know what Orlovsky's last fights have looked like.
I don't know if Derrick Lewis takes that, though. But you know what might be a decent one is if OSP wins tonight, OSP versus Derrick Lewis.
You think?
That might be a fun one. OSP was kind of on the outside cusp of 205, comes up to a new division, gets one. If he gets Derrick Lewis, because right now they need a new face, in heavyweight. Because right now they have Stipe, who fights once every 3 years. They have Nagano, and then DC's gone after this next fight. So, you have Stipe and Nagano.
They said DC said he's willing to fight Francis, but Stipe is like, guys, I'm here. I'm working with the UFC actively right now.
Sure.
To get the fight. So I think that all that's just kind of pressure on Stipe.
Sure.
Man, I didn't realize, Arlovsky's had a tough go at it. There was at one point he lost 5 in a row. He put together 2 wins. And in his last 5, he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He is 1, 4-1. So I think from a matchmaking standpoint, they probably won't feed him to Derrick Lewis, but I kind of like that.
You think they just give him like a title shot?
I think he fights the loser of Ben Rothwell versus OSP.
That actually is not a bad idea.
He's fought Arlovsky before, right? Or I'm sorry, Arlovsky's fought Ben Rothwell before.
I'd imagine they've both been around for a while.
All right, so hear me out on this. I'm a big Derrick Lewis fan, not a massive fan of his fights. Like when he's one of the main events, I'm not like, oh, sick. I cheer for him. I want him to win. He's a funny guy.
And I feel like I like the person more than I like the fighter. He just needs the right kind of dance partner for it to be really entertaining. Let Derrick Lewis eat.
Dude, and JDS pieced him up pretty bad too. That was rough to watch. I mean, so Derrick Lewis is 3-2 in his last 5, but let's not forget Alexander Volkov. He basically lost that fight. I mean, he didn't, but he got worked.
Yeah, he
whole
did.
Fight. Alexander Volkov just threw an errant naked leg kick for some reason with 1 second to go.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. I mean, he took Francis to a decision. So
remember how bad that fight was? Ugh.
I mean, Volkov
that's when Francis said he was gun shy.
I'll tell you what, man. Volkov has a serious case for being like a top rate contender. I mean, he's lost 1 in his last 8. And again, he was winning 99% of the fight. But
yeah, I mean, I picked him in that fight to win, and that was on the same card as McGregor versus Habib, right? Because that was my wedding day.
It was your wedding day, and you were sober as could be.
True.
didn't get thrown out of your reception. Didn't happen.
That's it.
So I'm just taking a look at Volkov, and for a heavyweight, he has only lost by TKO twice. And this is a guy who has fought a ton. He's 31-7, and only 2 of his losses are TKOs. Wow. So he doesn't have a ton of damage on him.
I did not realize he's fought that many times.
I mean, he knocked out Fabricio Verdum when Verdum was on a run.
Wow.
I think Volkov's a little bit of a dark horse, man. He's an elite striker. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's Stipe level, but I'm just saying like 1, 2, 3 fights together, and like even 2, I think, against high level opponents, and you could very well be seeing a title shot for him. I think
I'd be down for that. That's
I'd
no
be
problem
down
with
for
me.
Volkov versus the winner of Overeem and Walt Harris. I would actually really be intrigued by that.
Man, Walt Harris, how about his story, man?
Yeah, it's rough.
That's tough.
It's like you see one of the specials and you want to support the guy and stuff, but like it's just so gut wrenching that like I don't even want to tune in. Like I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Been trying to keep with positive things with everything going on.
Well, that's why I don't watch the news, man. I can't do the whole doom and gloom.
Yeah, it's rough. I read The Stand by Stephen King because I was like, oh, that's a great idea, and it wasn't. Because it was eerily similar to what's going on, in the world now. The Stand is clearly worse. Even the virus that's going around is definitely worse, but it's still like drew parallels. And what an amazing book! If you're not a reader, pick up the audiobook, or even the TV adaptation was okay back in the '90s. Had Rob Lowe in it, played a deaf guy. It's dated now, but it's
here's a question for you. If I read it, okay, but I wanted to like get a review, okay, like do you know like any place where I could like?
Well, it's funny you say that, Kev, because the Fantasy Network actually has a no spoiler, believe it or not, no spoilers. The book's been out for 40 years, no spoiler review of The Stand by Stephen King on the Fantasy Network, and it is most people are saying it's the best review of all time. So
really,
yes. In all seriousness,
how many egg salad sandwiches did it get?
Yeah, well, that's rude. It got 5 acorns out of 5, because acorns are a play on my name, which is also the Fantasy Network. And also it got the Golden Acorn Award, which means that it's going to make my top books at the end of the year that I end up ranking all the books I read for the year in a top tier list. Very exciting stuff. Big
question. Do you have a goal of how many like shows or books you want to read? And So how many books are you trying to review?
Well, for the year, I'm only trying for 24, so I figure 2 books a month. Now barring like, or keeping in mind that a lot of the books I read are over 1,000 pages, so they're thick. They're thick. But I'm already I think I've already read 18 books this year, and we have a lot more of the year to go. So I can read at least a book a week. But again, I try to account for the fact that I might have life going on. Like the past week and a half, I'm in the middle of this really great series, and there's just some nights I don't know if you feel this way with like TV. You just don't have it in you. You're just like, I can't get sucked into a show right now. You're just like, I'm not there. And usually if you start it, or even working out, right? Like some days you're just like, I can't do it. But if you start into it, you're like, oh, I'm glad I did it. It's kind of how I am.
So the whole like the days like you don't want to work out, I've been like having that experience for the past like 3.5 years. So like that's just something that I'm kind of experiencing. And then I started and I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't have, because I get sore. And so it's just something that I'm trying to just stay away from.
I understand, man. Did I tell you I have arthritis in both my knees?
Is that bad?
It is very painful. Like my right knee, which is the one I haven't had surgery on, it hurts so bad. I was convinced. I'm like, this is worse than whenever I blew up my other knee. And I went and got MRIs on both because they both were bothering me. I really like the right knee. I was like convinced something's torn. Like I'm like, I don't know what it is, but something's wrong. It's like catching and aching. And I'm not one to take Advil or Tylenol or anything. Like I've never really have been. But like it was to the point where I was like literally taking it to kind of ease out to go to bed. So
sure.
Went and got MRIs. Like, nah, you're good. You just have arthritis. Like I'm 29. It's ridiculous. But yeah, you hear those things, all your life. Oh yeah, so and so has arthritis, and you're just like, oh, whatever. It hurts to walk, man. It hurts to like, we go on walks around town and stuff, and I get done walking 2-3 miles, and my knees are like legitimately aching. Oh, what's this? Random trivia fact. The character in The Stand of Officer Joe Bob is named after horror movie host Joe Bob Briggs, and he played him in the movie. I can't tell if you're messing with me, but if not, that's really cool. I hope that's true, actually. I really do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fun fact, the Randall Flagg, the main antagonist in The Stand, is also in another Stephen King book because all of his books are actually connected, kind of like the Marvel universe, but it's a Stephen King universe. And Randall Flagg is in a medieval book about a dragon that Stephen King wrote when he was high on cocaine. Fun fact.
Good.
The Stand, by the way, is legitimately one of the best novels ever. It's no shit like this big. It's massive. But it's worth it, I think. I think it's a great book. And I've heard the audiobook's tremendous. Dude, that's actually a really cool fact. That's really cool.
Here's a question. Because there's been a rumor on like I'm on a chain email kind of thing with the top YouTubers. And because as you can see, we're trending nationally. And there's been a rumor that on the Fantasy Network, I might be coming on and breaking down High Heat, a Carl Duker book.
Well, I don't know if you're joking, but I actually legitimately thought about that. I thought about rereading High Heat and then having us do a review of it because I think it's actually like, I don't know. I think it's like you watch movies, right? That you rewatch them as adults.
Sure.
So why not reread books? Like I know it's not going to be a literary masterpiece. It's not like Game of Thrones or
but
the Lord of the Rings. Is it? I don't know. Maybe he was way ahead of his time.
You can't really tell me the Song of Ice and Fire is better than Heart of a Champion.
Hey, honest, I to this day will fight that Heart of a Champion is one of the best books I've ever read. I cried in Miss Murata's 7th grade English class. Whatever, homeboy, eats the dust. I'm like, are you kidding me? Do you remember the part where they're in the woods?
Oh my god!
And the dude pulls out the magazines. Ooh, they're throwing heat.
Yeah, they are. All right, let's sync it up since we haven't talked to MMA in a while. It's 4, 12, 11, 10,
like 10 seconds
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
all right, we're synced
2, 1.
Blast off. I've heard Nox gelatin is good for arthritis. I have no idea what it is. I just remember that for some reason. Well, I'll try it out. I'm thinking about injecting bleach into my eyes to help me from the coronavirus. So I'll probably do that after that. I need to do more broccoli. I heard a dog flapping its ears.
It's Nick. He's back.
Oh, big. You know what, Nick. All right. So Ray Borg doing what he does best and losing.
Dude, Ray Borg has like moments of absolute brilliance, and then he has moments where it's just.
So it's really tough because he had like all those personal things going on with his child.
Sure.
You feel bad for the guy, and honestly, he's probably a great dad and all that. But there is something frustrating about missing weight. Like 4 times? I think he's missed weight 4 times in 2 different weight classes, and it's just like. And I'm actually against weight cutting in general. Like as far as MMA goes, like I'm much more of a advocate for people fighting at their natural weights. Ooh. It's not going to happen, but if you're going to cut the weight, if you're going to dedicate yourself to it, you got missing it once or twice. Okay, I guess, but 4 or 5 times. I mean, it's just unprofessional.
Well, it was like
I say that while not cutting weight. So
who was it? Oh, it was when Calvin Cater was talking about Jeremy Stevens missing weight. It's just disrespectful, man. Like he signed a contract to show up at it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't do it. And especially when you look at the record, usually the guy that misses weight, until recently, really with Cater, and then there was a girl who missed weight that lost. But like I think it's other than those 2 or 3 times, almost exclusively the guy that misses weight wins, or the girl.
Sure.
So it's unfair. I mean, it's really not fair. And
I'll tell you what, man, old Ricky Simon's looking sharp tonight.
Well, Ricky Simon actually. Yeah, Ricky Simon's had a pretty good upside, and I was pretty big on him. I'm going to look up his history because there was a certain fight that I remember watching him in where I was like, okay, like Ricky Simon's legit. It was, I remember he fought against Zanny. No, it wasn't Zanny. I apologize. It was when he won a decision against Montel Jackson. That was the fight because that was Dillashaw Garbrandt too. But he lost the Uriah Faber by punches, which was wild. And then
I
he lost
a
a
lot of money on
decision
that
to
one.
Rob Font.
So I'm a big Rob Font fan. I've been
Don't know much
trying
about
to.
him.
Nah, I've liked him. His coach is Mark Delagrade.
Oh, okay.
And big slam.
What time are you at?
I'm at 105, 4, 3, 2.
Am I watching in
1.
fast forward? I'm like 10 seconds ahead of you again.
How?
It's that rough crick internet, boy.
Dude, I'm not lagging.
Well, apparently you
50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45, 44, 43, 42. All right.
All right, we're synced back up for another 15 seconds. Yeah, I
How
forgot that
the
Ricky
heck-
Simone had lost to Uriah Faber. And then who did Faber get? Yan, right?
Oh yeah. Well, Peter Yan, yeah. He's a beast though.
Oh, he's title contender, man. They're saying him versus Aljamain might be up next.
That'd be a good one.
Oh yeah, did you see that? Dana said, "Okay, Henry's done. We're gonna fill that belt spot within a month." So like within the next month, we're probably gonna get Yan versus Sterling, and that might be going 250.
I had a conversation with one of my football players the other day, and we're talking about the best weight class, and he's like, "Is 55 the best weight class in the UFC?" And I was like, "I mean, 55 is great, but I think it's 35, man.
There's a
35 is
lot of
stacked.
killers.
Because you're talking like, Dillashaw, Garbrandt, Cruz, Cejudo. I know he's retiring, but Aljo, Yan, Rob Font. I'm drawing a blank on a few others. That Cody Sandenball or something.
Sandhagen.
Sandhagen, yeah, that's what it is.
I'm pretty high on him. So if I had to say, dude, honestly though, 145 is crazy too.
Let's think. So 45 has got what? They got Holloway, Volkanovski.
How about I just read you the top 10?
Okay.
I'm going to give Sodiq and Ryan Hall of honorable mention because I think they're both extremely talented. And I'm also a huge fan of Ryan Hall. Shout out to 50-50. And Shane Burgos, Josh Emmett, who I haven't seen Josh Emmett fight in 7 years. Jeremy Stevens, Calvin Cater, Frankie Edgar, Yal Rodriguez, Chan Sung Jung, Zabit, Ortega, Holloway, Volkanovski with Aldo.
I forgot about Ortega. I keep forgetting about Ortega because he blew out his name.
He didn't fight all 2019. I think that division is good, but it's not as deep with just all around like monsters, right? Like Ortega has holes. Zabit has a hole.
So we're about 4.5. We're 30 seconds into second round, and old Ricky's looking up at the clock and stuff like that. I'm not sure what's going on. Oh, and I say that as he just throws a knee and is going to slam Ray Borg yet again.
Well, going down maybe he has an injury. Maybe he's like looking to get out of there quick. This is a good way. Oh, he's going all in on that Kimura. Look at that. He went 2-on-1, lost it.
Yeah, you're ahead of me again, by the way.
I will try to not react. What are you at?
44, 43, 42, 41.
I was like legit 10 seconds.
39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, 32.
I'm going to start mine 10 seconds late, and then we'll have to wait double the amount of time. Thank God someone finally said it. When Greg Hardy is starting to be considered a contender, you know that your division is just stickety stacked.
The Black Beast.
All right, so Cejudo, Sterling, Yan. I mean, Aldo is still game as hell. Sensao, Pedro Nunes. Oh my God, dude!
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah, Cody Stallman. Marlon Vera. Forgot about Marlon Vera.
I didn't even say Marlon Moraes.
Dude, yeah. You know what's weird? Marlon Moraes isn't. Oh, he's number 1. Okay, I missed it. Yeah, Marlon Moraes is a beast too, man. Big fan. Man, yeah, there's some banger. You might be right, man. I think lightweight's just intriguing because it has the 2 biggest draws in MMA, which is Conor and Khabib.
Sure.
There's just a lot of violence at 155. Charles Oliveira, Felder.
Dude, I
Dan
love me some
Hooker.
Charles Oliveira.
I think the problem with 155, and it's a great division, it's super, super dense, and there's always great matchups, but it falls off. There's a huge skill gap from like 4 down. Like you go from Conor McGregor to Dan Hooker. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like,
but I like Dan Hooker.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. It's like whenever there was, and I'm not saying Conor McGregor's Jordan, but like, you know, Jordan Shaq, where there was that huge gap there. It's like, well, Shaq's still an all-time great. Like, you know, you got Edson Barboza is ranked 11th. I mean, he's a, you know, tremendous fighter.
I think Barboza fights. Is it Saturday? He makes his 45 debut.
Yeah, he asked for his release so he could be done, and then cut down to another weight class, which is not great because he already looked like he was
big 55er.
Yeah, but he was skin and bone. I mean, he was like 100% muscle. Like that dude is just shredded. So I feel like he's going to lose muscle cutting down more.
You would think.
But hey, less muscle, you know, not as much oxygen. Maybe he's fresher. I'm trying to look at the upside. I love Edson. I love Edson. All right, I'm flipping back to the rankings while Ray Borg gets mauled. So keep the action live for us.
All right, I got you,
folks. 170 is amazing as well, and a lot of good questions to ask. Right, like is Tyron Woodley done? Is Gilbert Burns really elite? Is Damian Maia going to die in the? No. I love me some Damian Maia, dude.
I do, yeah. I feel like it's about time for him to call her quits. I tell you what, man, Ray Borg cannot get Ricky Simone off of him. Like Ricky Simone is like, but Ray Borg's scrambling. It's just he can't get away from this dude.
Dude, Conor McGregor's ranked 14th at welterweight.
I think Ray Borg, I thought, stunned him. Dude, you might want to tune back. Ray Borg's starting to put it on him.
I am. I'm looking. I saw a missed head kick from Ray Borg and 1-2 that got rode back.
Somehow having it again.
I'm trying. My internet's just so good. I mean, honestly, 170 has the exact same issue as 155, but it's actually worse. Like 6 is Gilbert Burns, 5 Stephen Thompson. You're like, all right, that's legit. 7's Damian Maia. Love Damian Maia, one of my favorite fighters of all time. He's number 7. 8's Chiesa, which I know is your boy. 9's RDA.
I like, dude. I think he's like. I mean, I think he's a dark horse at 70. He looks so much better at 70 than he did 55.
Yeah, so anyways, I mean, yeah, but I don't know, man. What do you do for him next?
If I'm him next, I come on the Sports Muse.
I like Chiesa. I think he has entertaining fights. I'm a fan.
Dude, I'd actually be real down to watch him versus Gilbert Burns.
I was about to say, I mean, is it him and Maia next?
No.
I mean, that's the only person to hit, or Stephen Thompson. Stephen Thompson's coming off.
Matchup.
Well, too bad. Because everybody, or because Leon Edwards isn't fighting. I'd be shocked if he fought again this year because of COVID. Do you do Colby Covington versus Chiesa?
I mean, he called him out.
Yeah, I don't think Colby's taking a fight that isn't Tyron Woodley or Usman. I don't see it. Or I think he'd fight Jorge.
Yeah,
I guess he turned down the Woodley fight. By the way, like that's pretty much agreed on. Like Woodley was like good to go, and I guess Colby was like, "No, you're not paying me enough."
I mean, I guess you gotta make hay while the sun's shining.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Man, it was hard to watch Burns spark Maya, man. Just because
I
Maya's my boy.
thought Damian Maya might have one last moment in him, and I was wrong.
It's upsetting because like the Burns versus Maya thing is like, man, these are two of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world, and it didn't end like that. But it's MMA for a reason, right? I kind of would have,
Sure.
I would have preferred being a Maya guy. I would have loved if he would have went out outclassing Ben Askren. I think that was like solidifying. Hey, look, jiu-jitsu still absolutely applicable today, even whenever someone brings in, a kind of a counter to it, right? With folk wrestling. It's a guy who's supposed to have insane wrestling, and Maya honestly schooled him.
So, yeah.
Like Maya made him.
I wish we would have got it. Like, not that it might not have made a difference, but I wish we would have got like prime Askren.
Yeah, I just don't. Prime Askren would have been in a different era of the UFC, though. So you actually have a point. Right now, I mean, is anything we're seeing the best of the best super athletes coming now to the UFC, and I just think it's not now. If you take Askren as prime in today's UFC, I think the results are pretty similar. But if you take him in his prime at that period with who was in the UFC, I think he would have done quite well. I think GSP would have wiped them up pretty bad.
I honestly think like GSP is undoubtedly the greatest fighter of all time. Like, I love Anderson Silva.
Yeah, Anderson's my personal guy.
Yeah, and I'm cool with it. And some people still ride the John Jones train, which is, whatever. Yeah. But just GSP cleaned out that welterweight division so many times, and there was killers in there, man.
Listen, I didn't like GSP until I got old enough to really appreciate what he did, and also just like becoming more of a fan of grappling. The fact that like you hear people like Joe Rogan talk about goats and he calls everyone a goat. I've never heard him refer to George St. Pierre as the goat, and it's like really strange. Like people are like apprehensive to call George the goat. And I mean, he had one loss. He had two losses, right? And avenged both.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you do? I just there's no good argument. There's no good argument because the only argument you can make, in my opinion, is John Jones, and you have to go, well, we're not counting, failed drug tests,
the steroids, and
like we're gonna ignore that. Now, if John Jones hadn't done that, then yeah, John Jones is because he finished more people. So, and for me, GSP is just like, again, not my favorite fighter of all time, but he is he's the GOAT.
I'm with you.
Like, I don't think it's really that debatable. I don't think it's a fun conversation to debate. I think, in fact, the most intriguing conversation you can have is if Khabib goes 30-0 and retires. Hey, I love me some Chuck Liddell.
$2 Chucks, man.
Dude, I watched him versus Overeem the other day from Pride, and just seeing him in his prime, just tarnishing Overeem and eating his best shots and walking through, just like, God, that was like the epitome of my like teen years,
Well, dude, just his sprawl and brawl, man, like that, like kind of took away from like the Mark Coleman era of ground and pound and brought in this new era of like, fighters of just staying on their feet. And
yeah, there's never been a truer expression of dying on your sword than Chuck.
Oh, sure, man.
Like, he went out fighting like Chuck Liddell. And honestly, to this day, the most, like, he was one guy, no matter who he fought, I was hyped for that fight. John Jones doesn't have that.
No, I mean, for better or for worse, you know exactly what you're going to get from a Liddell fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be entertaining as shit.
Sure.
He's a bad dude, man.
Watching him versus Tito for the Oscar De La Hoya Golden Boy promotions was probably the hardest thing ever to watch.
Yeah, I have no respect for Tito, honestly. That's just none. To celebrate that victory like he beat a prime Chuck Liddell, like, get out. I don't know. It just it seemed very exploitive. Exploitive? Is that a word? It seemed like an exploit of Chuck's condition, knowing that he was having trouble.
Sure.
And I just not a fan of that fight at all. But for maybe I think most people will always remember Chuck for that reign that he had at 205, head kicking Soberall into the third row. Like, dude was a legend, and he doesn't get enough credit anymore. It's kind of like Randy Couture. Like, Randy doesn't get nearly enough credit for
what's that? It's that entire era, man. That's like, it's almost like forgot about. Like, we remember. we remember like the old school, Kevin Randleman slamming people, but like kind of, even though it was around the same time, Liddell was there, but like we think of like the Pride stuff more than the UFC stuff when we think that era.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm definitely Ricky Simone won that fight. He just, when Ray Borg had space, his combinations weren't bad, but Simone just grappled the bejesus out of him.
I'm getting an English lesson from a mathematician. That's how you know I don't know my words, I guess. My vocabulary is very limited. I blame the Southwest PA educational system.
Hey.
Whoa. A little close to home, huh? So when you are doing these interviews, have you feel like you gained any knowledge that you can take back as a coach?
I feel like to a certain point, like, you talk to people and the Huntington Beach
Always the people's champ. Always.
But I feel like sometimes like you're learning what makes certain kids click. And then even when I interviewed Ty Hyatt from Shippensburg University, it was just interesting talking to somebody who, is in the same field and whatnot. Obviously more decorated than I am, but
yeah,
it's interesting, man. Because some of these kids, like, some kids are, you get in their face, you scream, they react to it. And some kids is more of like, they need a arm around them, giving them an attaboy. And some kids just don't care, man.
I'll tell you what, I think, and I don't know diddly dick about coaching, but knowing people, I feel like it actually is really important to know what makes someone tick. Like in my life and the various jobs I've had, whenever I've had someone in management over me that had a one rule mindset where, I'm like drill sergeant-esque, right? And
Sure.
When someone doesn't respond to that, it's, well, they're too soft. There's something wrong with them. When in reality, everyone's wired differently. And knowing what makes people tick, I think, is probably the most valuable lesson you can learn, and the best quality you can have as a coach, really, because it goes into life, right?
Well, it's I talk about this with Ty Hyatt. It's the idea of like, and I'm going to use this for sports, but it's a metaphor for life, is you can't just run your system through everybody.
Yeah.
Jim Boeheim ran the 2-3 zone for Syracuse for year after year. Well, he could recruit those particular people to run the 2-3 zone. But the idea is, when you're working at Best Buy or whatever, not everyone's going to react to the same style. You as a manager, you as a boss at a place have to, work with what you got.
Yeah. And you want to get the best results out of your people, right? So you got to kind of,
well, that's a good question.
Team,
this
right?
question we got here.
Yeah. If the answer from me is like clean, no, I don't think so. I think
I don't know, man.
Also, thank you, Scott. I thought it was a good question to ask. I was curious. Dude, I'd love to watch Mark Hunt versus Francis Ngannou. Oh my god,
I would like to watch that.
Like, that is a fight you'd want to see, because Mark's going to be able to take some of the firepower and
that
give it
feels
back.
like a pride fight. Does that not look like a pride fight? You have a 5'10", 260-pound man against a guy who looks like a robot. You know what I mean?
Dude, I didn't know I wanted to see that fight so bad until just now.
Dude, I think he can take one, like a clean one.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't think one's putting him out, but I don't know, dude. Francis has freak power, man.
He does.
Yes, that is 100% right, Scott. I agree with that. I think that is why certain coaches have success at one team for a long period of time, and then they switch places, and then they don't find that same success, and it's because you're having to resell the whole system. And
well, what I was going to say is, I think for me personally, as a teacher or as a coach, the first thing I do is I sell myself. Because listen, man, no matter if I am a genius at whatever I'm doing, okay, if you don't buy into me as a person, you're not going to buy the product I'm selling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I'm trying to sell me as, a person you can trust, a person you can believe in and whatnot before I, pitch my idea. And as a coach, that's what I try to, deliver. The very first thing is, hey, listen, I'm not supporting you because you're on my team. I'm supporting you because I care about you as a human being. And you're selling yourself as this person that they can believe in, they can trust, and then they'll run through a wall for you.
Here's a question. You played football your whole life, and do you think you would have appreciated your own coaching style whenever you were a player? How would you have reacted?
So I think I would have liked it because in a way, for better or for worse, and if you ask any teacher, and coaching is very similar to teaching, is you have a tendency to teach the way you like to be taught. And that's something you have to break as far as a teacher. You know what I mean? You can't just, because again, not everyone's the same. Not everyone likes learning the same way I do. I like PowerPoint. I like someone lecturing me. I enjoy that, but I get most people don't like that. But I do, because I don't like being screamed at, man. That's why, I don't know why,
I don't
but
react well to it.
I don't like being told what to do. So as soon as somebody, even if I know it's the right thing, if they scream at me and tell me what to do, I'm just like, nah, I just instinctively want to do the exact opposite. So I want somebody with put me in line when I need to be put in line, but it's kind of like the metaphor of give me enough line to choke myself with, but don't give me enough line to hang myself with. So be there, but don't just kill me on everything.
So you think you would have probably reacted well to your coaching style?
I think so. But at the same point, with being a little bit more of a relaxed coach, is you have to be careful that people don't walk on you. So you do have to set that hard line.
Yeah,
it's tough.
I feel like coaching, this is a strange kind of relation, but I feel like coaching is so in its infancy in MMA still.
I think to a certain point is, it's going to be interesting in like 10, 15 years when you start seeing this group of fighters start getting into coaching. And I think you're seeing that with Dwayne Ludwig. You're starting to see that with Mike Brown.
Mike Brown, yeah.
I think those are, two of the better coaches in the world right now. And, when somebody who knows what that guy's going to be, but maybe it is somebody like a Damian Maia who gets in, and tells somebody, hey, listen, man, if that's your strength, ride your strength.
And how to adapt.
I just think that's because, Damian Maia did something that a lot of people don't do, man. He just rode with what he was good at.
He's a pioneer.
He got better at standing, but he was never somebody who's like, listen, man, I'm going to bang with him. I'm going to prove to everybody my stand up. He's like, I'm going to have decent enough stand up so I can clench you, get you to the ground and strangle you.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
I mean, that's why he's so impressive. I absolutely love, as weird as it sounds, I love one mind, one set thing that they're going to try to do. I to employ your strategy when everyone knows it and you're still successful, that's masterful. It's funny because if you look at a lot of the successful fighters, a lot of them come out in groups, right? Whether it be Khabib and his Dagestani crew, or another good example, and it's a little past now, but think when it was like Kane, Luke Rockhold, and DC,
Koscheck.
And yeah, you're right. And
well,
so think, yeah,
Schwick,
think about
Fitch.
Hey, Schwick was legit. Fitch is actually relatively under. I think he's a boring fighter, not a
He's
fan
boring,
of
but
his
he's
style.
underrated.
He is underrated because he wins, and whether you like it or not, the W's the same whether he puts you to sleep or not, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Scott, that's a interesting thing. I can't. He says I can't stand when the coaches don't understand their fighter lost around. I would say, do you think, and you kind of already hit on this, trying to keep them positive, but are there people you just can't let get behind? I guess that's of a knowing your fighter type thing. I've heard a couple other, I think Trevor Whitman has said that before when he does his corner commentary. But I'm with you, and I hate the no sense of urgency. And one of the reasons why I think that coaching is still in its infancy is actually kind of continuing on that point, is how many times have we seen now, even with Tony Ferguson, Tony Ferguson's corner, it's not constructive, right? You need to knock him out. Well, no shit, Sherlock. I'm down 4 rounds to 1. Do you have any other suggestions? I just feel like And like, just because you're a good coach in the gym doesn't necessarily mean you're a good coach in the corner.
So it's
Right?
it's so tough. Like, why is it like if it's a close round, just tell your fighter they lost the round, or if you don't want to be negative, put it in the sense of, hey, that's a close round. Let's assume that you lost it. Okay, go out and get this next one. Okay, you're not being negative toward them, but you're still keeping them motivated because listen, man, if I know I'm up 2-0 in a 3-round fight. And I like, you know what I mean? I'm like, hey, I'm feeling a little tired. I'm not going to get the finish. I'm going to coast. I'm not going to push the action. I'm going to try not to get caught. But if reality is it's 1-1 and you know what I mean? Like that's not good coaching.
Well, look at Whitman. Gaethje was getting ahead of him. I'm winning. Oh yeah, and he was like, "Whoa, cut the shit." And then Justin knew. He was like, "Yeah, you're right. I lost last time and lost 2 actually." And he knew. And that's a guy he has total faith in his coach.
Yep.
Like he has total faith. And again, I don't think we've seen a lot of that in MMA. And the whole thing with you saying like, hey, maybe former fighters start getting into coaching. I think the teams who have done the best as a team have been fighters that have stayed close together. Even Team Quest. Think about Team Quest. They were dominant for a long time. The Lions Den. So I feel like there's a chance we're going to see that blow up in coaching whenever this cream of the crop retires. I think you're 100% correct. Think of DC as your coach. I mean,
absolutely.
Now, my criticism would be that DC himself doesn't listen to game plans very well, which seems to be what that team's weakness was. They couldn't stick to a game plan.
But I think DC would be somebody who would come out and tell him like, hey man, this is something I struggle with, but this is why it was so important. This is why I made that mistake. And sometimes, like, you know what I mean, that almost helps because in somebody like DC, probably won't coach. He'll go into commentating because he's great at it.
The best.
But like, look at like a Mike Brown. He was a champion, but no one's ever going to say Mike Brown's one of the greatest of all time. Yeah. It's the guys who were, talented, but had to fight, claw for everything that they had that make the best coaches because, they know that they're limited and to be great, that they have to come from somewhere different, you know what I mean, to achieve more. So it's just tough, man. But ATT's done an awesome job with like, Den Thomas, Mike Brown, who else they have down there that has trained there that end up being coaches. It's just, I think that's why ATT stood the test of time, man. Like that was like the original group and they're still, killing people. You see like Black Zillions come and go, man. But that ATT's been around for a long, long time.
Scott said here, coaches do a good job with the initial plan, but struggle to adjust on the fly. No plan B. And I think that's 100% right, which is why I kind of like the Michael Johnson fight, right? Like Michael Johnson was up. His opponent was like, plan A didn't work. Let's go plan B. Let's knee bar / straight ankle lock him. I think that is definitely a big piece of the pie that's missing for MMA coaching. Because just again, if you're because you're a good coach in the gym with the initial game plans, doesn't mean you're a great corner man. So
sure,
maybe that becomes a specialty. Now going back to ATT, I almost said AT&T, ATT. I actually have a criticism for them, and they like to put out a decent amount, and not always, but they do have a decent amount of people who are great grapplers. And I'm thinking of Colby Covington, that then become pressure boxers, and they have good volume, amazing, solid output. But their defense isn't there, but they have chins. But once the chin goes, it's over. Hey. Thanks, Dr. Schriff. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man. Glad you tuned in.
But I do think that's a problem with ATT, that they do these wrestlers that become cardio. And what was Usman versus Colby Covington other than a cardio kickboxing chin test? I mean, that's really what that was, right?
Absolutely. It's tough. Like I get, nice takedown by Hernandez. Where are you at, by the way, with time?
3:30.
All right, I'm at 34, 33, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25.
There we go. We're synced up for a minute.
No, and MMA is probably one of the hardest sports to coach. just for the simple fact that there's so many different options of things that can happen, like
We're also in
wrestling, any kind of combat sports, man.
Yeah, and also it comes and goes, right? Like in phases, like when the wrestlers are the most like right now, it kind of feels like grapplers are on the come up, but the rise of the low calf kick has really changed the game. And my wife actually pointed it out when we were watching the paper. She goes, "Man," and maybe because the crowd's not there, but you started noticing after 3 or 4 leg kicks, you're done. Like the game plan changes, and your body language changes. The output's not the same. And I think that strategy is possibly a cornerstone in mixed martial arts right now. And I think that is going to be a good counter for someone who fights Khabib. And I think Justin has that. And I don't know, it's interesting. Again, it comes in waves, and what your camp does well might not line up with the meta. And
Sure,
it's fascinating. It's my favorite sport by far. Also, Dober has a amazing haircut. I really like his haircut. He stayed pretty composed there, by the way. Got back to his feet.
sure.
Hernandez looks like he's on the gas.
Well, Hernandez is
His legs.
Yeah, he's pretty jacked up. He's a little bit of a front runner. Like, I mean, he's a talented guy, but he's a guy that hasn't showed a great ability to face adversity.
Yeah, he's young, so this is obvious, but like there's definitely that experience gap with him and other people. He also just ate a big jab, and Dober's starting to look really confident on the feet.
Sure.
Dober's moving in and out. Hernandez is going side to side, but if you notice, he's bouncing a lot. He's really not moving his head.
That was a good takedown defense by Dober.
Yeah. Dober looks confident, man. It's also kind of interesting to see Hernandez fight a southpaw, because I don't think I've seen him fight a southpaw yet.
Not off the top of my head, I can't.
Yeah, Cerrone's orthodox, right?
Yeah. Dober's a guy that I felt like wouldn't amount to much. Like I thought he was kind of like he wasn't even a gatekeeper. He was kind of a jobber almost. And he's definitely made his game into something. I felt like he's someone who isn't the most athletic, but dude's just worked and worked and worked. And it's always like nice to see those kind of, oh wow.
Dude, he's touching him. That was what, 3-4 in a row there? Dude, he looks precise, man. He looks really
just missed
precise.
Straight.
Yep. Hernandez is breathing through his mouth a little bit. I don't know, maybe if he got hurt, or maybe he's getting a little overwhelmed. He's wearing it a little bit on his nose too.
Yeah.
Dober's just put.
Wow, man, that was clean.
Snapped his head back. Dude, Dober's putting a pace on him right now that I don't know if many people could keep up with. And Dober
especially with Hernandez being so muscular, man, might wear him down.
Hey, and let's be honest, Dober's first class all body too. I mean, he looks pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Look at Dober staring him down. Woo.
That was a fun round.
Yeah, it was. I'm not saying I'm like Dober's #1 fan, but I actually do think he's decent. Like I really do. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Dude, every time I watch an Aldo fight, I feel like I spend half of it explaining to whoever's watching with me how bad his leg kicks used to be. And they're like, but he's not throwing any leg kicks. And I'm like, yeah, I think he broke his own legs. Like,
that's the one thing I like. I like Edson Barboza never went away from it. That dude kicks so hard and he just keeps riding it. Because, Aldo just completely quit kicking. And, whether that's wear and tear or, kicks naturally take more energy from you than a punch. If that's something to conserve energy, he started throwing less kicks. I don't know, but dude, they were vicious, man.
Dude, absolutely talking about a finishing move. If you look at John, it's funny you say that because John Jones has a move set. Like if you watch John Jones fights, he has about a handful of things he does really, really well, and he will 100% attempt in a fight.
Sure.
Like you're going to get the jumping knee, you're going to get the spinning back elbow. Jones also has always really enjoyed the oblique kicks, and you're going to see those. Like he has a repertoire, and he just does it super well, and then uses all of his physical attributes to stay at distance and stay in his game plan, and then he looks for opportunities to hit those moves. I mean, it is funny, but it is like signature or finishing moves.
So to keep it within like that coaching, spectrum is we see that the Jackson Wink fighters, man, like they don't necessarily adapt to a game plan or are really flowy. They're more so like, hey, we trained this, this, and this in the gym. I'm going to do this, this, and this in this fight, no matter if it makes sense or not.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like they don't really have setups, or it's not like, oh, like when you hear Mark Henry in the corner of like Frankie Yeager, like he's telling them like, oh, I saw this, do this. It's not Jackson Wink. It's tough.
Yeah, Jackson Wink is definitely one of those game plan, like we were talking about not having a plan B. They don't have plan Bs. They will ride it until they die. And usually the style that they fight, like a Holly Holm or John Jones, the fights are almost always competitive and close.
Dude,
and it looks like Hernandez might have been dropped. I couldn't tell if he slipped or he got dropped.
I'll tell you what, man. Hernandez got in close twice on a takedown, and Dober did not go down. Impressive.
And now, is this a case of Dober getting a lot better, or is Hernandez just still not over the hump?
I think this looks like the best Dober I've ever seen.
He's in great shape. His hands look sharp. It'll be very hard for me to forget Cowboy just beating the dog shit out of Hernandez.
Yeah.
That was rough.
Because I bet Hernandez that fight because I thought we were seeing, a Cowboy that was. I wish Artem was more flowy.
You mean the Artem? I'm sorry. You mean the goat?
Oof.
Dober's
what time are you at?
Man.
I'm at 3:22, 21.
Yeah, we're synced up still. We're synced up still.
There we go.
Ooh. Hernandez returns fire and eats one. Oh man.
I'll tell you what, man. Hernandez is starting to tire out, taking deep breaths.
Yeah, but he's still there. He's throwing heat, man.
He's there, but I don't like in the third round. I don't know, man.
Well, if you notice, he's still throwing hard, but he's not moving as much. The bouncing is cut out. Well, there he goes. He's moving laterally quite a bit. When he's throwing his punches, though, it feels like he's not moving his feet. It's kind of weird. Ooh, that was a good move. I mean, he missed, but like his movement was good. Dude, Dober's a game.
Yeah, dude, he's just biting down and ripping.
It just makes you wonder if he felt Hernandez's, big shot and was like, "Oh, we good," or if he just was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go out there and die."
Just knew he couldn't deal with the pressure.
Yeah, he's putting it on him, man. Ooh, good big left. Another
one.
Just nonstop in front of him.
I mean,
him being a lefty,
like exhausting that is. Imagine just not having any room to breathe.
Dude, 5-minute white belt jiu-jitsu competition, and I'm gasping. Ooh, big right and left. Ooh.
That's a good one, man. Ooh. Dude, he dug hard to the body, then went upstairs.
We got a minute 40, and he's taking another big left, and he just ate a right. Big takedown.
That's huge, dude, because I don't think he's making it out of the round without that takedown.
I think Dober's staying active. Oh, man, I love an active guard. That is sick. Dober can stand up at any moment, man. I see. I'm not. I don't like that. You see how he locked up his guard after he had actually made an attempt to do a hip escape. I don't like right here. He's going for the shrimp, feet on the hips. I guess you do risk the pass like that though. Come on, go. Post up. There it is.
Good uppercut off the break.
It was. Oh, lazy. Yeah, Hernandez is gassed and hurt. Big left, big right. Oh my dude, Dober looks good.
Oh my goodness!
They're
gonna call it.
Yeah, he's putting it on him. Dude, Dober looks like a
young
Poirier.
Oh my goodness!
I'll give you this: Hernandez's fight IQ looking pretty high in this fight.
He's gonna stop it. It's done.
Yeah, it's over.
Wow. Drew Dober, man.
Hey, Hernandez. Good fight IQ, but just wasn't there anymore. Wasn't there. Great takedown defense, way to get back up to his feet, and Dober was precise.
Dude, that was a really good stoppage by Herb Dean.
Yeah, it was. There was no reason to keep that going. He's young. He'll fight again. It'll be okay.
And like there was no like, him claiming it was a bad stoppage. Like, it was a good stoppage. Saw enough.
Dude, man, that was a great performance. I mean, literally imposed his will and bent him. Just absolute. I mean, that was a Nate Diaz or a Nick Diaz like performance with the precision of like a Dustin Poirier or Conor McGregor in the striking department, like big power. And we're not talking the cardio kickboxing, stuff. We're talking like big punches, throwing heat, and not stopping. I mean, that makes Drew Dober a must watch for me from now on.
Oh,
big fan. And you know what? I think there's a lot of eyes on this tonight, more so than usual. So that's a great performance to put on. Good for Drew Dober.
What? Respect to Hernandez, man. He took some shots.
He obviously has a chin on him, and again, his fight IQ to try to get those takedowns was excellent.
He almost made himself out of the round, man. If he could have held on to that second takedown.
Yeah, you're right. I want to check out some of Drew Dober's past fights. He's just one of those dudes I watch fight a lot, and always can never remember. He won by first round KO against Nasrat Haqparast in his last fight. I think I watched that. He's 31, so still young. His last loss was in March of 2019, so a little over a year ago, and it was a submission armbar loss to Darush. And other than that, he got submitted by Oliveira Aubens Mercier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who's a phenomenal grappler. Yeah, and trains with GSP. Is now in the PFL, by the way.
He was one of those guys that just never panned out. Like he had all the talent, just never.
Yeah, and there's still a chance maybe he could, because he didn't take a ton of damage. So who knows? Maybe he PFL comes back a little stronger. Dude, Dober's on a little bit of a tear here. He has now won 4 of his last 5. And he's
breaking down Dober. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick.
Yeah. Today, the Sports Muse is brought to you. Oh man, I can't remember the exact name. Shit. Well, thank you, Scotty. Good night, and thanks for tuning in. So, those out there watching, what do you guys think of the fight so far? Pretty great. I would like to implore you all to go ahead and slap that fucking subscribe button to help out the Sports Muse. Giving out some of the great interviews of today's YouTube sports personalities. And this coming week, they will be having Gray Maynard on, UFC legend. We'll be doing an exclusive interview here. So you make sure you want to be subscribed and turn on notifications so whenever that video is posted, you do not miss out. And again, there is a collection of amazing sports interviews here on the channel already. In a short lifespan, Kevin has put in a tremendous amount of work and is a very consistent poster with quality content. So again, slap that fucking subscribe button. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to swear on this channel, but I did. Ooh, I didn't realize that Olivier Aubin Mercier had lost 3 in a row. Yikes.
I heard you hyping up the show. I appreciate it.
No problem. Mercier lost to Alex Hernandez.
I remember that. Yeah,
that's wild. Yeah, dude, Drew Dober's on a little bit of a tear. He'll probably take that 15th ranked spot now. He'll break in the top 15 with that.
Good for him.
Yeah, very good.
Who do you think Paul Feller's going to go against next?
Edson Barboza. No, I actually was. It's funny when we were talking about stacked ass divisions. I actually was thinking about that, and it's weird because he's not fighting Conor McGregor, and he's not fighting. Dude, what if it's Tony Ferguson?
That wouldn't be a bad one. I'd be down for that,
dude. It actually makes a lot of sense if you look at
because Felder just came off a razor sharp decision loss. I'd be down for.
But then who do you put Dan Hooker against?
Well, Hooker's going against Dustin Poirier.
That's signed?
Yeah, I think.
You sure?
I'm like fairly certain. Google it or whatever.
Yeah, I'm pulling that shit up.
There we go. Overeem Walt Harris.
He does not have any fights officially announced yet.
Dude, I'm like fairly certain I read that like 10 times.
I mean, he's won 3 in a row. Dan Hooker versus who were you saying again? I can't remember.
Dustin Poirier.
And Poirier.
Ooh. Dude, that knockout Alistair had on JDS was brutal.
So it is expected the headline UFC San Diego on May 16th.
Okay.
I believe that's this Saturday, and I don't think that fight's on that card, right?
No, but maybe they just postponed it like they did the Rosenstruck Francis fight like 10 times.
No, yeah, there has been literally nothing since March. Nothing. I think Dan Hooker's out of the United States. That's why.
Could be.
And you know, this is another Corona thing, man. Like, the rankings are kind of weird.
I mean, because it's not like it's like someone's hurt. You know what I mean?
No, people are gonna miss out on title shots and stuff, man. That's why Dominic Cruz just fought for the belt. Though Dominic Cruz made more sense than Jose, and I'm a huge Jose fan. Also, I say Jose or Jose, just depending.
I say Jose because I think that's how it's pronounced. I got $3.50 riding on this fight.
$3.50.
A little bit more than that.
A little bit more than that. This is also a really good opportunity to say if you have a gambling addiction, make sure to reach out to the appropriate channels. So you don't. Kevin's actually broadcasting from his minivan right now. Kevin did lose his house. He bet on Tony Ferguson because he's a fool, and
I did bet on Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, you did, and you also said you'd wear a Browns hat next time we did a podcast.
There's a pandemic, James. I haven't gone out shopping.
That's true. That is true. I got that. I got that dog pound fever. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I'm gonna be so bummed if they don't have football season, like an NFL season.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, because I somehow still have hope for the Browns, and by that I mean they're gonna go 6-10 again, and then draft a quarterback next year. But you never know. So let's see. Again, we were kind of talking about the lightweight division. So like Dan Hooker's number 5, but your top 4 are Conor, Dustin, Ferguson, Gaethje, and then obviously Khabib. Khabib and Justin's done in my mind.
Yeah, it has to be.
I don't think Conor wants to fight Tony. It's like the one guy he doesn't call out really.
Yeah.
And I think Conor's game. I think Conor wants a big fight. Now he did say he wanted to fight Dustin Poirier again, but he said he made it sound like
those two have been going back for a while now, back and forth.
I think he said he wants to fight Gaethje, then Khabib, and then Dustin. I think that's what. But he says everything. Man, I don't know who Conor fights, man, because he can't. I don't think he can wait. I mean, he can do whatever the fuck he wants, but I don't know.
Got me a Steve Weiser right here.
Nice. So, do you think Conor takes a fight? I think he's going to fight in July. I do think that. I think that's happening. Does he fight Poirier? And do you think that's why they've went radio silent on Poirier Hooker?
I don't know, dude. Conor's so hard to predict anything for because like he's so up and down, man. 1 minute he's saying he wants to fight 4 times in a calendar year. Next minute we don't see him in MMA for 3 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's why I honestly don't really root for him. I'm not a big fan. Hey, Nate Diaz is one of my favorite fighters. Nick and Nate both, but it's hard to be a Nate Diaz fan, man. It's hard because you don't get And I don't blame
Sure.
them, right? Like, make the most of your money, wait out, and like I would do the same. You should. It's your brain and your health. I get it, but at the
Your
same time,
body.
it's very difficult. It's very difficult to be a fan of those guys. I don't think Connor can just sit on the sidelines, wait for Justin and Khabib. Don't think so. I think if Khabib doesn't fight by August, I think they would possibly do Connor Justin.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And they'll just push it off as in like, oh, we can't wait. We can't hold up the division. But really, like, that's what they want. They want Connor to win, and then they want Connor Habib too.
Khabib says if his father, if something were to go south with his father, and even now just being in a coma, who knows when Khabib fights again, if he fights again.
Well, he's a guy who's been for a while. It's been, I mean, he obviously still wants to fight and stuff like that, but like he's been, I don't want to say half in, half out, but
he even says
I don't think he would have a problem walking away.
Yeah, he said he hasn't really been all that motivated. He said Ferguson was the first opponent in a long time where he felt like a fire for it. And I think he was disappointed that Tony lost. But Justin's a phenomenal opponent. So let's just say Justin Khabib's a done deal, even though actually I don't think that. I said that earlier. I actually don't think that's the case. But let's say that's booked for July and Connor wants to be on the same card.
No, I'd be down for that.
But who does he fight? DP? He can't
fight Dustin.
Tony's not fighting that early. There's no way.
No, here's the thing. Tony shouldn't be fighting that early.
Yeah, God,
but
you're right.
Clearly his corner doesn't care about his well-being. Clearly Tony doesn't care about his own well-being. Like,
I think Connor would starch Tony. I've thought that's just since I've actually always thought people always are like, oh well, Tony will outpace him, it'll be rough. But you know what? God damn, Tony can take a shot though, man.
He can, but just like I said, I'm not. I don't dislike Conor McGregor, but I don't really I'm not a big Conor McGregor fan. But his just left hand is just something different, man.
So I'm going to disagree with you because it's at the 155-pound division, and we haven't seen him have death touch at 155 yet. You know what I'm saying? Like all the instances we think of are at the 145-pound division. Even Eddie Alvarez, who he outclassed and destroyed, it wasn't a flash KO.
So okay, he's not flatlining dudes with the left hand, but he can touches you and you're on the mat. You know what I mean? Diaz just repeatedly put him on the mat.
That was So I do agree. I totally agree. I just don't think he has that mystical power at 155. I just haven't seen it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Like I'm thinking of Aldo going out, Chad Mendes hitting the deck. Like I'm thinking of those performances, right?
Sure.
He is not that killer at 155. We've seen him fight at 155 twice. We saw him against Eddie Alvarez, who he outclassed. Didn't flatline, but outclassed 100%. Would never argue anything other than that. Obviously, probably one of the, if not the best performance of all time. And then we saw him get just stomped out by Khabib.
Yeah.
And Khabib took a couple lefts and was fine. Now, given he was exhausted by the time he was able to land.
Sure.
So I haven't been all that impressed at 155 with Connor. And 170, against Cowboy, okay, whatever. I don't know. I don't want to disrespect Cowboy, but it is what it is.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
All-time great, love Cowboy. But
have you watched any of The Last Dance?
No, I've heard it's tremendous.
Dude, it's crazy good.
Yeah, basketball's fake. No, I might check it out because I would shit else to do. But I didn't want to watch it week to week. Something I'd rather just like when I'm in the mood for it, just binge through it. Also, for it's definitely basketball.
Like first off, like they not only like Michael Jordan's the GOAT and everything, but like the way it's shot and like the soundtrack for it, like the way it's scored, like the ESPN killed it, man.
That's awesome.
Like they brought it.
So I mean, there's no other way to do it when you're talking about the greatest all time, right?
All right, man. Here we go, man. Getting ready to start it.
Dude, I'm actually really interested. Dude, OSP coming at 240.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we kind of glanced over this earlier, but I actually wanted to talk about it. So OSP's quick, man. He's explosive, has true knockout power. And the only thing I was concerned
He was quick at 205.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's going to be
heavyweight.
Did you say high school?
I did say high school. Imagine what he's going to do to high schoolers that he beats up.
I love it. And, he doesn't look terribly soft.
I mean, that's about how he's slightly less cut than when he's at 205, but he's never been like a shredded guy.
I think he could make some waves, man. I think he has to be very defensive, though.
What's his age? I didn't catch it.
Unfortunately, I think he's actually a little bit older. I think he's in his late 30s now.
I'm thinking he's 36, but I was hoping he's like 33, 34.
Well, Sherdog just like had an aneurysm on me. Dude, he's 37. It doesn't mean anything in heavyweight.
That division's so old that that's not.
Orlowsky just won a fight in 2020 during a pandemic. It's fine, actually. You know what? Him at 37 years old, deciding to not cut weight anymore and go to a very shallow heavyweight division is actually a great idea because he's never beaten John Jones for the belt. I'd argue I don't know if he could beat Dominic Reyes.
Now, it's interesting that you said Ben Rothwell is on the all-body team. Now,
honestly, I, for a split second, thought Scott was fighting.
All right. We're going to shut this live stream down if OSP loses.
Don't like naked leg kicks. Never have, never will, especially in the heavyweight division. Shout out to Volkov. Dude, people that don't set up leg kicks and just throw is very strange to me.
It is very weird.
OSP definitely biding his time, throwing a lot of kicks, dropping his hands.
The one he threw right before that last kick, the one kick he threw, he looked came up a little lame, like he almost checked it with his elbow and hurt his foot.
Yeah, and we're talking about his speed, but maybe there's a chance that he loses his speed at a natural weight, and a good example of that is Luke Rockhold. Luke Rockhold looked horrendous at 205.
Dude, he looked so bad.
And there's nothing that hurt my soul worse because I thought, we're getting like non-cut, no cutting weight. Luke Rockhold, his chin will be back. Let's go. And we didn't get that. No, he bulked. He bulked and then cut for 205. What a bad move. What a bad move.
OSP is going to lose this fight.
He looks, I'm going to be honest, he looks terrible. He's flat-footed. He's not moving around a lot. He's keeping his hands relatively low. And he's kind of moving funny. Like he's favoring his left. You notice that?
Yeah.
He looks very flat-footed, though. And Ben Rothwell looks like he's totally cool playing the waiting game. It's crazy how big 205ers are, though. Like, he looks every bit as big as Ben Rothwell right now. He has a huge ass. My goodness.
Getting those deadlifts in.
Yeah, you can tell. Good body kick. Yikes. I don't like the run circle there. Not great.
All right, what time you at? I'm at 43, 42, 41, 40.
All right, I'm at 33.
39, 38.
Let me know when you're at 33.
37, 34, 33.
All right, we're back.
32. All right.
Yeah, OSP doing exactly what we talked about earlier about, coming out and circling the fence, back to the fence. Not my favorite game plan.
Oof. They kicked each other.
Yeah. Did you see the guy in the prelim that had a leg kick and you could see his bone?
No.
Oh, dude, it's disgusting. You should look at it. He had a cut on his shin and they zoomed in. You could see his shin bone.
That's rough.
Oh, big head kick from OSP.
Uh-oh.
Ben Rothwell ate it like a batch of Dunkin' Donuts.
Dude, Ben Rothwell's got a squeeze on him, too.
All right, like we're joking a lot about Ben Rothwell, but Ben Rothwell was like legitimately dangerous for like 5 years. He's a decent heavyweight.
OSP needs to get out of this.
He looks content to get choked. A little too content.
Rothwell doesn't have anything right now. Stand up, bro.
Yeah, not a great position to be in. You're all that weight down on the back of your head. He could choke him like this, though. Absolutely. Yeah. It's going to require Rothwell to drop his chest and kind of tuck his tailbone, though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he has the mobility.
There we go. Oh my god, he's not fighting hands anymore, is he?
No, I think he's safe. I think he's good.
Go.
Now, Stand Rothwell might throw an illegal knee here.
Now you have 2-on-1. Stand up.
Rothwell's dropping
wear him down.
Yeah, and honestly, that position that OSP's sitting in, his legs are probably burning out. I mean, I'm 29 and my knees hurt when I squat. I imagine that right now he's having all the trouble. What he can't do is keep eating punches, whether they're small or not.
There we go.
Okay.
Dude, I can't believe Rothwell ate that head kick, man.
I don't think it connected. I don't think it got all of them. It looked like OSP was like half in on it. OSP looks gassed.
Ugh.
He's bouncing with his hands down, throwing errant kicks. Dude, it's so disappointing whenever you see a fighter who had struggled in the division move up and you're like, this is the key. And then they just look like shit.
Yeah.
You know, like Chiesa, like we talked about Chiesa, they looked great when he moved up. You're like, well, hell, that was a case of just cutting too much weight. And then you saw Luke Rockhold go to 205, and you're like, why?
Well, I mean, I'm probably just mad that OSP's going to lose me money, but it almost feels like something where he almost moved up in weight so he didn't have to cut weight anymore. Like, it just looks like he didn't train.
Yeah, it's kind of what it looks like. Or you're like Rockhold and then like was like, yeah, I should definitely put on like 20 pounds of muscle. That'll be great for my cardio. I guess I just don't get it because it's like, what would be your advantage moving up? My speed, my conditioning. Sure. And to throw all that out the window for maybe a little more power, this doesn't seem like it's worth it to me. Especially in a division at 205, it's pretty bad. But, you know, we were talking about it a little bit earlier. We got away from it. 205 is a little better than it was. Okay, Dominic Reyes, I actually think Dominic Reyes is turning into a decent fighter. Yeah. I think Thiago Santos is game and entertaining, so I'll take that.
It's tough having a wreck in your legs.
Hey, after 2 knee surgeries, who knows what he has left in the tank? I think Jan's legit. I think Corey Anderson's probably on the backside now. Johnny Walker's going to be at least entertaining, and I am going to go out a limb here and say that Ozdemir actually isn't as bad as everyone thinks he is. I think Ozdemir is actually a pretty talented fighter.
He can bang.
I think 205 like if John Jones disappears, like gets another DUI or some shit, and he's gone, that division becomes interesting. Because it doesn't have to be the best division. Oh, almost knocked my cam over. It doesn't have to be the best division, right? It doesn't have to be 135 where everyone's just like ridiculously well-rounded and can win on any given night. It just has to be entertaining and competitive. Yeah,
in a weird way that John Jones makes that division worse just because he's so much better than everybody. Yeah, and he's oh god, he ate OSP ate a bid, right? Yeah, what time are you at? I'm at 350. I'm at 49, 48, 47, 46.
Yeah,
45.
We're back on. Oh, Van Rothwell's tagging him. OSP just looks very content to be on the cage. Like he has no urgency to circle off. Even when he circles off, he just stays on the cage. It's bad. But John Jones is better than everyone in that division. But I stand by. He lost to Reyes. I thought he beat Santos. I thought it was a very competitive fight against Santos. I thought he lost against Reyes, though. I thought Reyes deserves a rematch.
Yeah.
I guess Jones he said he would fight Reyes if they treated it like a super fight. And it's like, bro, you haven't had a decent fight since DC.
That's weird. Why do you...
And I'll be honest with you, the first 3 rounds of Reyes was entertaining because he was losing, But those last 2 rounds, like it was like I was like, oh, Reyes is getting finished. He's gassed. He could not be any more gassed. And that wasn't the case. Jones just coasted. And so he's not outclassing people anymore. And we're talking about not outclassing people like Thiago Santos was a middle of the road middleweight.
Sure.
He didn't finish Anthony Smith. You know, I don't know. I think John Jones has lost a lot of his mystique. Big right hand from Ben Rothwell. My God.
Yeah, he landed clean. Ooh.
Yeah, OSP looks like he's on Queer Street.
Ooh.
Oh, good
OSP.
clinch work.
He's in trouble now. Knee.
He's willing to accept these defeating positions, and I just don't.
Exactly. There's no sense of urgency.
Yeah, so there's usually 2 reasons for that. One, he's too tough for his own goddamn good, or he is not in condition to get out of that position. Like he is physically incapable. Hey, thanks. Have a good night.
Yep, thank you.
It is. Oh man, it's I am going to be tired for work tomorrow.
Yeah, me too. All I do is have to answer emails.
It's not so bad. Ben Rothwell putting it on him. And while OSP looks like, terrible, let's give Ben Rothwell some credit.
He definitely looks better than he did against Stefan Struve.
Yeah. Ooh, OSP's deep on the wizard. Gotta watch out. He could hit the famouser out of nowhere.
Famouser.
OSP's starting to bleed.
Yeah, he is.
I think it's his nose.
Mm-hmm.
I feel stupid making some of these comments because, like, I'm sure people are watching with the commentary on. Like, yeah, he just said that, dumbass. Like, well, I didn't hear.
It's a good knee by OSP.
Yeah, jiggled his back tits.
Come on, OSP.
Good high kick. Dude, does OSP not like throwing hands anymore?
Nah, just kicks.
I mean, I knew he's always had decent kicks, but like, this is the heavyweight division right here.
Oh my God, that was the worst guillotine attempt I've ever seen. What an idiot.
For those who are just tuning in,
back off.
This guy over here has 350 riding on the fight.
Jesus Christ.
This guy. He bet on a 205. Can you fucking believe this guy? OSP looks like he would rather be anywhere else.
Did he steal the round with that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because nothing, I mean, I don't know. Rothwell actually did come out pretty strong. I don't know. I think it was the closest the fight was to being finished, and the fight has been so bad that you have to give it to OSP. I'm going to give the round to OSP, but I wouldn't be surprised. It won't be a robbery if he doesn't get it. Like if he wins round 3 here and Rothwell wins a decision, I'd be fine with it.
I mean, I would say OSP's up like 20-14 right now.
I think OSP might get fucking fired after this performance.
Would you say that was a 10-4 round?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's what I was thinking.
Hey, do you think Tony got 10-8'd in round 4? Round 5 was a 10-8.
I mean, honestly, Tony did not look there the entire night.
It's pretty bad.
Boom, look at that shot OSP landed. He's so good.
Dude, OSP's been down on his luck. He has lost 3 of his last 2. Or I'm sorry, 3 of his last 5. He's 2-3 in his last 5.
Dude, the ref needs to stop it. Then Rothwell can't even stand up.
He looks slightly overdosed.
OSP literally just turned his back and just ran straight away.
Ben Rothwell has Rohypnol on them gloves because I'm falling asleep watching this shit show.
Rohypnol.
Big knees, not actually. Oh, that one landed. Okay. Oh, big uppercut. Let's go. OSP circles out with his hands down. Classic defense. They teach that 101 in boxing. Oh, big right.
There you go. Come on, OSP.
OSP decided to start using his hands with a minute left in the round 2 and has decided in the 3rd round to stick with that strategy.
OSP just got
left.
drilled.
Dude, could you imagine if OSP had fought like a legit contender at heavy? I mean, they're all kind of legit because they're heavyweights, but you know what I'm talking about? Like someone with dynamite in their hands.
Could you imagine if OSP actually did cardio for this camp?
He definitely didn't. I like that Philly shell he went with. Ooh, big knee to the body. I think OSP's melting under the uncanny and debilitating pace of big bad Ben Rothwell. They say Ben Rothwell is basically the Khabib of the heavyweight division.
Honestly, OSP's making him look like that.
Yeah, he truly is.
Dude, OSP is gassed.
A bit. You would never have guessed that's a man that took John Jones to a decision.
Oh man, this last 240 is gonna be bad.
Yeah, it is. By the way, we're staying synced up now, so that's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know what kept happening. Like I said, like I never felt like my stuff was buffering or lagging. So maybe you're watching the fast forward.
Yeah, I can't tell the future as I did not miss a single pick for UFC 249, and Kevin did. I should call this the Sports James's awesome at picking fights Muse.
I like that. That's a catchy name.
It is. It rolls right off the taint. Who's tonight's stream sponsored by? So our family members who are watching can go.
Is one of these viewers Kelsey?
No. One of the 3,000 watching might be, but
hey, if you're watching right now, give us a comment. Let's see who's on.
Yeah, and slap that fucking subscribe button.
I couldn't agree more. OSP eating an overhand right.
Yeah, it's not looking good for OSP.
Dude, OSP is so tired.
Yeah, so you're at the point now where he's lost rounds one. He lost round one definitely. He's losing this round. Probably lost round two, and he has nothing. I don't think he can knock Ben Rothwell out right now. Though Ben Rothwell's tired as fuck too, but he's like a guy that is tired but has done cardio in the last year. Dude, when Ben Rothwell's outpacing you, that's not great. I think I'm good on OSP.
It's bad.
Yeah, if he doesn't go back to 205, I'd be good if he just called it a day. He could start selling protein shakes.
Looks like 2008 Cain Velasquez.
It was like 2012, right?
I don't know what year. Like Cain was hurt for so long.
Yeah.
What year did Cain beat JDS? It was early 2012.
Let's see.
We're still in high school.
In Velasquez. Let's take a lookie.
Oh, the last 20 seconds was fun.
Yeah, blast.
Oh,
he dropped him. Is that enough to win the round?
No.
No. Man, it's kind of crazy when you look at Cain's career. Oh, man. So he beat... Yeah, 2011 is when he lost to JDS.
Really?
And then he won against JDS in a decision in 2012, and then he finished him in 2013. He beat Brock Lesnar in 2010. His loss to JDS was the very first fight on Fox, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember that. I thought the Fox deal happened earlier.
Dude, it's just crazy. Kane's only lost 3 fights.
It is kind of
Francis,
crazy.
Fabricio, and JDS. When it's all said and done, 3 Hall of Famers. And if you look at the people he's beaten, it's kind of crazy. Jake O'Brien, Czech Congo, Ben Rothwell, Big Nog, Lesnar, JDS, Bigfoot again. I didn't know he knocked out Bigfoot twice. What a
Dude,
mean
he
thing to
beat
do.
the bejesus out of Bigfoot.
Well, I remember the one was like a bloodbath, and then he also beat Travis Brown at UFC 200 randomly, which was so weird.
Oh, because remember that he was throwing like cartwheel kicks, not really cartwheel kicks, but he was throwing like ridiculous kicks, like roundhouse kicks.
Yeah, and Travis Brown looked shot at 200, if you remember.
Dude, remember when Travis Brown like literally looked like he was going to potentially win a heavyweight title?
Yeah, he was one of the heavyweights that, he fought like more like a light heavyweight, and he mixed it up really well with his kicks. And he was honestly a really good striker. I don't personally like Travis Brown, but he was definitely talented.
I think this is a split decision.
I'm actually going to listen in. It is a split decision.
Rothwell.
It was a split decision.
I don't know how.
How? Dude, Ben Rothwell post fights. Honestly, Rothwell seems like a pretty nice guy.
Those who should sponsor Ben Rothwell's podcast is Manscaped.
I think you're right.
Like those new electric shavers that they're using like for men. Because dude is a hairball.
He really is.
Wow, that was really bad. I don't know how that was split decision. Thanks, OSB. Wow, I literally thought that was a lock. Wow.
Oh, big call out.
Who do you call out?
Ben Rothwell wants Olenek.
I don't know. They both look like superheroes against 2 guys that I picked. So
yeah, it's like, yeah, who do you pick in that one? I actually think Rothwell gets it done.
Olenek like never got tired though.
He got a little tired.
I don't know, man. He's moving pretty well.
Fabricio won round 3.
Off of his tiptoe flying knee, maybe.
Maybe. No, I can't wait to not watch that fight. It's going to be a banger. Dude, who do you have? Big implications here in the light heavyweight disaster.
I'm going to Anthony Smith.
Dude, I'm still disappointed that Lesnar didn't actually end up fighting DC for the belt just to piss off every hardcore MMA fan. Like, I happen to be a part of that group, but it would have been... Oh. And DC does the job. Oh.
Dude, how giddy was DC when Lesnar came into the octagon and shoved him?
Greatest promo in UFC history. The heavyweight disasters from the beginning. Ngannou's a piece of shit. Stipe is a piece of shit. Dude, think about this. Stipe was considered the greatest heavyweight of all time if he beats DC. He loses. He gets knocked out, gets his belt taken from him, and you have a guy who hasn't fought clean in 7 years. And he comes in the octagon and just goes, he's a piece of shit. Could you imagine? Like
I'm gonna break some news for you. He's never fought clean. That dude has been straight diesel gas to the gills since like 6 years old.
You know what's funny about Brock Lesnar is that he is so over, like he's actually underrated for what he accomplished. Like people act like he's
yeah.
Like I don't know if you read like Reddit, like people literally act as if he was like they treat him on the same level as CM Punk. It is bizarre. Because folks, he fought Randy Couture Didn't like get lucky and knock him out or anything. Like he fought Randy Couture and beat him. And people might say there's a huge size. There was. But hey, Randy beat up Tim Sylvia.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I do get a little frustrated by it because I am a big Rock fan, but people discount what he did because he's a pro wrestler. And it's like, who cares? Like,
Exactly.
I don't know. The dude's literally one of the greatest athletes of all time for his size alone.
Oh, undoubtedly.
And what he accomplished in amateur wrestling and MMA.
No, I'm 100% with you.
And you know, it's like Connor. You got to be. You're a liar if you say the UFC is not more interesting with him in it.
I think that's a true. Well, just dude, like, I get it. Like, I do hate when like Connor jumps the line or somebody like Lesnar jumps the line. But like at the other point, you have to understand that why it's happening. Like, understand that like Anthony Smith's not moving the needle. You know, it's that simple.
No. Yeah. Who do you have in this fight though, for real?
Anthony Smith, I think. I don't know. But Glover always kind of like,
dude,
he always like, I don't mean disappoints me, but like I've been picking against Glover for like 3 years now.
I love him.
He's like still relevant, and I don't know how.
You know what's funny? He actually had a decent chance against Jones until Jones popped his shoulder, which was a great move because like his weakness is boxing, and Glover has tremendous hands.
Sure.
And if Jones takes him to the ground, Glover's a black belt. Like Glover was actually a big threat to the belt, and because of that strategic move of putting his shoulder out, was actually an excellent.
Sure.
You know, if you think about it, Glover also took Jones to a decision when people weren't taking Jones to a decision.
And Glover's one of those dudes. He didn't get over into the UFC until late. You know, you wish you would have saw him a handful of years before.
Oh, dude, I think about it all the time. Like, it sounds silly, but like literally, like I think Glover is vastly underrated in the like all-time list for light heavyweight. Like, imagine him versus like, you know, a prime Chuck or a prime Rampage. That'd been a great fucking fight.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? Did Shogun ever like officially retire?
No. Shogun was scheduled and had to pull off a fight, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look. What happened in his last fight? Do you remember?
He
had a draw with Paul Craig.
Was it? Oh yeah, maybe you're right. I was thinking he beat that big tattooed guy with like the big Samoan tattoos. Who was it?
Tyson Pedro.
That's who it was. I kept wanting to say Brandon Thatch.
To be fair, Tyson Pedro, I think he blew out his ACL in that fight.
Yeah, he did.
But Shogun kind of. Yeah, he put it on him. And Paul Craig I remember that was a draw, and I remember thinking Shogun won. Here's the weird. You want to hear a crazy stat about Shogun? Is in his last 6 fights, he's 4-1-1.
Oh wow!
And dude, here's another crazy thing. He beat Corey Anderson in one of those fights and Lil Nog.
How old is Shogun?
40. He is 75. Dude, guess how old he is?
41.
38. He's 1 year older than OSP.
Oh my god.
Dude, he's 4-1-1.
Dude, Shogun must have been fighting in Pride at like 11 years old.
Dude, if you think about so his first pro fight was 2002. He fought 1, 2, 3, 4. He fought 7 times in 2003. And you know what, man? That's another guy that just doesn't get the respect. Shogun came in and starched Liddell. I mean, and just everything in pride. I love Shogun, dude.
Well, dude, remember he got absolutely screwed against Lyoto Machida. Like, he clearly beat him. Everyone knew they beat him. He got robbed on a decision, came back, and just put Machida's lights out. And that's when it was peak Machida.
Yeah, and to be fair, Shogun had a good run. Like, it wasn't like he came to the UFC and he was watched. Like, no, he had literally one of the best fights of all time against Dan Henderson. Twice.
Sure.
So it's not like Shogun didn't have a good run. It just feels like when the McGregor pop came and like a lot of eyes got on the sport, Shogun was a little. And you know how it is. I mean, it's the same thing with Liddell. A lot of people don't talk about Liddell. Liddell was the Stone Cold Steve Austin of MMA.
Sure.
He does not get enough credit. Hey, what camera are you filming with now? Is it the GoPro?
No, I still haven't, because I had to get a cam link to do my GoPro. Why?
It looks good.
Oh, does it look better?
Yeah, what are you using?
It's a Logitech. I don't know.
920?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's what I'm using right now. Yeah.
See, Caleb was, because when we watched your videos,
Well, I use
the
a
other
camera for my
day.
videos. My book reviews, I use a DSLR.
Okay, because I was like, it's so crisp.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm actually getting a little better at it, and I bought some studio lighting, and I think my next video is going to look really good.
Okay.
But that's a DSLR camera. That's a Canon M50. It's a really popular camera because it's like right before you bust into like the big dogs. Technically, it can shoot 4K, but the image stabilization on it is really bad, so it like goes out of focus a lot. So it's not great actually for 4K. It's kind of a sham, but the 1080p looks really good, and I think I got it for $500 on sale.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and we kind of wanted a camera, like me and Kelsey.
Yeah.
It's something we didn't have. And like, yeah, you can take nice pictures with your phone, but when you actually like, even if you just put 10% effort in on a DSLR, you can get an insane picture.
Yeah, it's not a bad investment at all. The whole GoPro thing, man, drove me freaking nuts of trying to get that thing hooked up.
Cameras are a conundrum. I never understood. Even when I worked at Best Buy for all those years, I always stayed away from the camera department. Like I didn't know anything about anything until about last week. Like I started doing research. I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't put my camera just on auto. Like maybe I should try actually like manually setting all these crazy settings. It's a rabbit hole, man. That's why photography pays so much.
Yeah, I mean,
so I'm actually because I don't mind to put my undefeated streak and picks up. I'm actually going to take Glover. I think Anthony Smith is pretty bad, and I don't mean that it's really rude, but like I watched him versus Gus, like I told you, and it's his last fight, and he just throws so when he's throwing combos, Anthony Smith actually looks really good, but Anthony Smith throws a lot of just 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. And I think Glover can put together a combo on him and counter-strike him to the point. But Glover is also kind of shot. So
that's what, like, it's
kind of annoying to me.
You know what Glover does an excellent job at that's like extremely underrated about his game is his wrestling game's actually legitimately really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, his top game is phenomenal too. His pressure game from jiu-jitsu, he plays pressure pass. He's very good. That's what I'm saying. Glover, dude, if you would have had Glover back in like the Liddell era, he would have been champion because nobody would have been able to fuck with him. He could have he can stand with anybody. And if he took them down, there's no chance. They would have had no chance. And you know, I'm saying that it makes it sound like kind of stupid, but no, the dude's 40-something years old. He legitimately could have been fighting in the UFC at that time and been, you know, fine. So
sure. I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take Glover. I think he is less washed than I think he is. I think he has better skills, and I think Anthony Smith's one of those guys. He wins one, lose one, win one, lose one. Like that is a fine pace for him to set.
So I definitely think Glover has the better skill set, but I don't know if he physically can implement it anymore.
And he looks good. He looks tighter than he did last time. Anthony Smith's a strange guy. He's a very strange guy because, like, you look at him, he looks like an athlete. And like I said, you'll see these highlights of him throwing combos, and you're like, dude, he puts 4 and 5 together. Like, he looks pretty damn good. But when I watch him fight, I almost feel like it's like, I don't know. It's really interesting. How do I say this without sounding like an asshole? He doesn't look natural.
So I think Mark Montoya is his coach, and Anthony Smith has these glimpses of, like, you know, being really, really skilled, but it's just like he doesn't put it all together yet. And like he fights like a much younger fighter than his age. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's hard to believe that he's 31 because like he fights like a guy in his like mid 20s because like he's just piecing it together.
Wait, so is he 31? I thought he was old.
Anthony Smith, I think he's 31.
Really?
Ooh.
Oh, big, right? Yeah, I was gonna say Anthony Smith looked pretty aggressive in the pre-fight, but you never know what that really means. But he's continuing that body language here in the first. You know what? I'm kind of making fun of it and saying like Anthony Smith's not very good, but this actually is a good fight because I don't know who's going to win. Yeah, you're right.
Sure.
Anthony Smith is only 31. He's just fought a ton of times. So
Anthony Smith has some
you know
really
what?
bad tattoos. Good for him.
Yeah, they're not great. I will say this. I am a little bit more positive about Anthony Smith now knowing he's 31. For some reason I thought he was like 35, 36. But he's fought a ton. He has taken a lot of damage, but you know what? There is a lot of time for him to still improve if he can stay away from getting KO'd.
Sure.
So, you know what? That's fine, and that's good. That's another. I would give that as another positive
Oof.
tick to the
Oof.
light heavyweight division. Anthony Smith's hands look really good.
Dude, Glover takes a shot.
Still, even to this day, man, he's game. Glover's just game, man. Where happened to Gus, man? God, like Gus lost against Anthony
He broke
Smith.
my heart against John Jones.
Yeah, and then Anthony Smith was just that was a pitiful fight on both the court. I mean, good kudos to Anthony Smith. He got and he finished him, so that's great. But like, it was very odd. Anthony Smith was kind of like gun shy, and then started believing himself a little later in the fight and put it together and won. But like, Gus looked like he was there to do a like footwork class, and that was about it. Like he just danced around Anthony for a while. Like it just looked like he wasn't really in the fight, and then Anthony realized it and just put it on him and finished him out. Oh, there was that wrestling. I missed. What time you at?
I'm at 59, 58.
Okay, we're
57.
on. We're on. All right.
Yeah, I thought so.
Anthony Smith is staying a lot more busy than he did against Gus, and I think it's probably because he has a reach advantage.
Ooh.
Anthony Smith also is oh, damn. Low blow. It looks like Anthony Smith is definitely digesting more of his forward movements instead of shelling up like he did against John Jones. Hey, man, maybe Anthony Smith is going to put it all together.
I mean, I hope so.
I think I get a little annoyed because people will talk about his performance against John Jones like it was like
Ooh, wow, that was clean in the
old
cup.
The balls, the nuts, if you will. Yeah, I think a lot of people act like Anthony Smith was competitive against, like they get him mixed up with like Santos and Reyes, and it's like,
Yeah,
no,
it wasn't the same fight. No.
It was an ass whipping. Was it impressive he stood in there all five? Yeah, he's tough. I knew he was tough though. Fighters are taking a lot longer on low blows without an audience because they don't feel the pressure.
That's true. That's a good point.
I noticed it on the pay-per-view as well. I think there was like one or two low blows, and I think one of them was Stevens, and he took like a full. I think Cater got kicked by Stevens. Somebody got kicked in that fight, and legit, the dude took like 2-3 minutes, and it's like that's probably what you would do if there wasn't an audience because you don't feel the boos and.
Sure.
Also, having this muted, me and you just BSing, I can't even tell there's a crowd. There's not a crowd there.
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo. I kind of like it.
How many impressions do you average a day?
Oh, I have no idea. Let me go look.
Because over the last 28 days, I have like just over 9,300. So I average like 320 a day, and I just didn't know like.
How do you?
Obviously,
how are you breaking that down?
Ooh.
Channel analytics.
Tell you what, man, Anthony Smith's doing good.
Are you just doing the last 7 days and then dividing it by 7?
No, so I think it comes up the last 28 days. So I just took that number, put it in there, and divided by 28.
Okay. How many did you say you had?
9,300.
Damn. Yeah, I have 6,700. So I'm averaging roughly 239 a day. Yeah, dude. Yeah, you stick with it. I think your channel's going to grow. I mean, you're doing interesting stuff, and your stuff is going to age very well. And also book reviews age well because people are always reading.
Well, dude, you just said you did the Stephen King, The Stand, and that book's how old?
Yeah, and it's actually now my best performing video. Like last week, randomly, just like 50 people just came from nowhere. Anthony Smith looks good.
Yeah, he does.
And I'm not just saying that. Like Glover doesn't look washed. Glover's there.
No. Just Smith looks sharp.
Hey, I like seeing it, man. Do him and Santos, and he said he wanted the Santos fight back because he lost to Santos at 185. I'd love to see. Yeah, do Santos Smith if Smith wins. Reyes rematch. Where's Jan fit into all this though? People are calling for a Jan title shot.
That's
Ooh, good low calf kick.
That was hard.
Ooh. The only thing about
Glover just landed flush.
Dude, I was literally about to say the only thing about Anthony Smith, if you watch him, when he throws his left hook, really anytime he's throwing, he doesn't come back to a shell. You see how he drops it down to his stomach?
Mm-hmm.
He keeps doing that. I know because I did it when I took boxing and I got fucking rocked a bunch. People would just ride.
Boxing so hard.
Yeah, people don't have enough respect for how tiring throwing punches are, or grappling for that matter. Though
Dude, I not even it's hard just defensively, it wears you out just taking punches on the arms and
keeping your hands up.
Yes,
this is extremely tiring.
Being on your tiptoes,
awful.
Dude, the first if I don't I did boxing, then I went to college, and when I came back, I was doing boxing again, and dude, it murders your calves if you're not used to it.
Yeah, I definitely fought a little bit flat-footed, not gonna lie.
Dude, I started fighting flat-footed just for the simple fact that I couldn't stand to be on my tiptoes.
Yeah,
I started doing the Diaz. I would throw long, and
yeah, I don't know. I was my boxing gym had good instructions because it was linked with the university, but they threw me into sparring the second class, and I was going against dudes that have been literally boxing for 4 years, and took way too much damage. They were just killing me, and I'm like, well, this sucks. And then eventually, I could hold my own. I could at least survive and do fairly well against other people with my skill level. I would generally outperform, but I should have been sparring my second class there.
Well, dude, the thing is with boxing compared to jiu-jitsu is there's such a learning curve, and it's terrible to be in that learning curve with boxing. With jiu-jitsu, it doesn't matter. You get choked out, you're good.
Yeah, when I get tired, I don't get punched in the face more in jiu-jitsu. I don't get brain damage.
The mentality is so different in a jiu-jitsu room compared to a boxing gym, because a jiu-jitsu is all about hey man, if there's anything you need, let me know, I'll help you with anything. And boxing's just bro, I'll kill you. You know what I mean? They're all just ham.
Yeah, stuff. I only met a couple nice people in boxing. I've made friends that I think I'll talk to the rest of my life in jiu-jitsu, and not just a couple, a lot of really good people in jiu-jitsu.
Dude, when we were at Ground Zero together, there was only one person I wasn't a fan of.
Yeah, that's it.
And two.
Yeah, and even really, they weren't the worst of all time. They just weren't my favorite. The other people were so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Anthony Smith's actually getting caught a little bit. He just got caught on that left hand. Yeah, I was really hoping to get my purple belt in 2 years, but with COVID, I don't know when I'm ever going to go back to the mat. I don't think I'm going to roll again this year.
It's not worth it. You know what I mean?
It sucks. Dude, I was doing jiu-jitsu 4 to 5 times a week, and I was lifting 5 times a week.
Dude, I've been so stinking lazy because you can't go to the gym, so there's I don't know.
Dude, we turned our dining room into a gym. We just bought a bench off Amazon right before it got too crazy, and I got a 70-pound dumbbells, 50 pounds, and I got 20s, 15s, and a 30-pound kettlebell, and I got a pull-up bar. Just doing what I can, at least just trying to maintain a little bit. I've actually put on a little bit of muscle because, again, I was doing 10 workouts a week. So I'm not burning as many calories, but I'm keeping my calories the same. So I'm actually putting on muscle. I would say I like aesthetic wise, I look better. I look more thick, but it's not, I don't know. I'd rather be in good cardio shape, honestly. That's definitely my rolling style.
I don't know, man. It's so hard. Like, without me like competing, like truly competing, it's so hard for me to push myself because like I've just always, since a kid, I've always been so sports oriented that like if I'm not competing, like I don't see a point in it. Like I don't like playing football or basketball if it's not competitive. If you're playing to mess around, I don't want to play.
Yeah, I will say this, like part of the glamour of going back to wrestling was having a motivator. Yeah,
I feel you.
So, but also I definitely
Anthony Smith's starting to wear it, man.
Yeah, he is tired. He looks very tired. Also, I want to point out
Glover's gonna finish him.
Glover's gonna finish him. Anthony Smith, he's melting. Dude, Glover's the fucking man, by the way. 42 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. Oh, Glover got stung with the left. Glover has such good boxing, though. Anthony Smith did a head slap that almost looked like an eye poke. Like it was like very intentional, and I couldn't tell if he was trying to eye poke him or not. Maybe he got that from Jones.
Ooh, that was a good uppercut.
Yeah, I think it glanced him, but Glover
it didn't flush.
Glover looks like he slowed down just a little bit, and his face is looking a little swollen. But you see Anthony Smith threw that jab and just let his hand fall.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Glover's throwing some. Let's go. I feel like Glover's like my grandfather. Looks just like him. It's so funny. Looks just like him. It's a 5-round fight. Someone's getting finished.
Ooh, that was a good body kick.
Ooh. Oh, what?
Yes, I know.
Oh, man. Glover kind of does everything well. He's so well-rounded.
He really is. Like, he's kind of the prototypical well-rounded guy.
He is honestly, at this age, still better than some of the guys half the experience of him. And
ooh, that was a
John Jones elbow. That was a John Jones-esque elbow.
Dude, Anthony Smith looks pretty close to gassed.
He is gassing. Oh, big body shot. Glover looks tired.
They both kind of look tired.
But no,
dude, I think the second round.
I think Glover's rope-a-doping. Because you see that Bob
the second round, both guys look
he's gassed.
Not 100%.
Shit, Glover's gassed. But Glover's old. I understand why he's gassed. Also, they had like a 2-minute nut shot break, bro. What happened to coming in shape?
They must be on that OSP game plan.
God damn it. It's eating Cheetos. Taco Bell. Oh, man.
You hear me pretty well?
Yeah, you sound great. You sound better than you usually do, for sure.
I wasn't sure with the mic being this far away if it picks up well enough.
No, I think it's fine. I mean, the best thing you can do, honestly, is watch this back. And I would do it on your phone and put it at half volume. That's what I do. And if you can't, like, if half volume is too low, you need to crank it just a little bit.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't like turning their phone up all the way, because then the next thing they listen to blows their eardrums out. Audio's a pain. I think it's almost as important as like I'd rather watch someone with low grade video quality and high grade audio than flip of that.
Really?
Yeah. There's this one guy, he's on BookTube. He does video reviews, and he's newer, and he has a 4K camera, probably like a $2,000 camera, but tremendous video quality, horrendous audio. Sounds like he's in a tin can. I'm just like, what? Why didn't you just
Oh,
dude, Glover's body work is really interesting to me. I know he likes to go to the body with his hands, but he's been throwing a lot of body kicks, and I wonder if he saw something in one of Anthony Smith's old fights.
Do you remember Anthony Smith having cardio issues like this? I don't remember being
against John Jones. He was gassed.
I don't remember being this egregious. Dude, it is 1 minute into the third round. It's a 5-round fight.
I don't know how.
Just
Oh,
ate his
big uppercut.
Broke his nut. Dude, he's
yeah,
it's over.
That's it. So that's it. He covered up.
It's over.
Call it.
It's
Call
over.
it,
Ref, stop it.
Ref, what are you doing? Bro, he's done.
It's over. Just stop it. What are you doing?
Dude, what is he doing? Literally, what is this referee doing? Dude, he hasn't taken his hand off his face in 10 seconds. Like, what the fuck are you? He fell down. He flatlined him. Dude, Anthony Smith literally went rubber leg down on the top of his head, ate 3 more uncovered punches, and the referee isn't stopping the fight. Dude, what's wrong with this referee? This fight's over. Dude, this guy definitely bet on Anthony Smith. Like, I'm not even. This is ridiculous. It's not the most egregious. Dude, he's literally gift wrapping him and punching him in, I assume, a broken nose.
Dude, he hit him with an uppercut. He just clenched his face and back.
This is a 10-8 round, by the way. I don't even know if they're under new rules, but like if Anthony doesn't get up out of this, 10-8.
Dude, it might be 10-7.
You know what my worry is that Glover is going to gas, and then Anthony Smith's going to come back. I mean, if he does, he does. But like, fucking sucks. That fight should have been stopped.
Props to Anthony Smith for hanging in there. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, and we can't hear, but maybe he was yelling, "Don't stop it." I don't know. When you cover, it's like when Pettis and Diaz fought, and Pettis covered up and turned his back. That fight's over. Yeah, that's not intelligent defense. That fight's over. I thought that was a huge, and not only that, but Pettis got dropped with his back to him because Diaz ended up hooking around him with the hook.
Look at Smith; he's still wincing his face.
He probably broke his orbital, honestly. Oh, Tony broke his orbital bone, by the way, against Justin.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Oh, those knees to the ribs. How bad?
I mean, Anthony Smith's just gonna get decimated until this ref step. I think Anthony Smith also went to the ground hoping that the referee would stop the fight. Like, it looked like he was wanting the fight to be stopped. And now you're sitting here and you don't want to tap, and now you're getting kneed in the kidneys repeatedly.
Oh my goodness. Dude, he is getting mauled.
Dude, this referee is pathetic.
Oh my goodness.
This is this is the kind of stuff that's like, I don't want to say it's hard to watch because it's not nearly as egregious as like Tony getting his ass whooped, but it is hard to watch because like you've seen people take less and get stopped. It's just like unnecessary head damage. Glover is gassed.
Yeah, he is.
And really, Anthony Smith has a chance to breathe a little bit because he's not doing anything. He's just getting beat unconscious.
Is he bleeding from the ear?
Yeah, I think his cauliflower ear might have popped.
God. Well, being punched in is going to do that.
Punched him in the ear. Oh, he scooped it. Oh, I thought he had the chin. Rear nakeds are a lot easier when you can punch the guy in the fucking head. Like, I watched this, I'm just like, man, like I never get rear nakeds in jiu-jitsu.
Dude, remember when I cross-faced you in jiu-jitsu and old Phil about killed me for it?
Dude, that was so funny. Hey, we're not trying to kill each other here.
Dude, I cross-faced you. You went, oh!
Dude, I only cross-face dudes that I don't like. I cross-faced.
Well, here's the thing. Like, you were like, I think I had back mount on you, and you were like you were flipping the position, and I tried to cross-face you, but like not on purpose. I was just trying to hold the position so I could readjust.
Yeah, it wasn't egregious or anything.
Dude, Phil made it sound like I was like fish hooking you and had a razor blade that I was cutting
spitting
you
in my ear.
Anthony Smith might die.
He might quit in the middle of this. Nah, he wouldn't quit, but
dude, he literally has his foot up on the stool.
Dude, he looks bad. Like, that looks like a man not only gassed but beat down. Can he open his eyes?
I think he's like just dog tired.
Dude, what do you think's going through his head right now?
Look.
That uppercut
Yeah,
did
he
it.
broke his orbital.
Yep. The referee should have stopped that fight. I got to see if anyone on Twitter, like I love like seeing what other people think on Twitter, even though it's a cesspool. Let's see. No one's really saying much.
Doctor's in. They're stopping it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. John Bones Jones tweeted, "Man, Uncle Glover ain't playing tonight." Wait.
Nope, let it go.
That would a great. That actually is a really good tweet. It's funny.
Oh God, he just same thing.
Ooh, dude, you can't get punched in an orbital bone. Apparently, it is just hell. I just watched the replay on Twitter of that left. Anthony Smith absolutely went out for a second. Like his legs were noodles. Ooh, good short elbow by Smith.
It was, yeah.
If I'm Glover, I'm keeping my left hand high and just dropping bombs on him. Also an uppercut. Yeah, there it is, uppercut. Elbow. Oh, a knee to a broken orbital. Could you imagine? Yeah, this has been a decent fight night.
Oh my goodness. Ooh. Oh my goodness.
Dude, this referee needs to be fired. Dude is literally like turning away with his hands up. I mean, it seems bad. I'm also trying to like see what other people think. Glover's all over him, dude.
Yeah.
This is very fun to watch for me, though. No one seems opposed to the fight going on for some reason. Strange.
Like he's defending himself now, but it's like, didn't you like? I don't know. I think you have to take into account what happened last round.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe you don't stop at this round. The fight definitely should have been stopped last round, without a doubt. I think he lost consciousness for at least a second there, and then 8 more shots on top of that. That just seems silly, but it's whatever. I mean, Glover's winning, so as long as it doesn't really affect the outcome of the fight. Yeah, see, that's Glover's smart. You know, you can feel when the dude's going to just give out. It's there.
Oh my goodness. Props to Anthony Smith, man.
Yeah, I think he's won me over a little bit. Oh, big left hook. Just keep jabbing, Glover. Oh, why would you throw a naked leg kick with your hands down? You know, another thing, though, is... Oh, I thought Glover got stunned. This is it. Why are you shooting, Glover?
Why did he? Yeah. He must... I don't know, unless he's tired.
Why are you shooting? To be fair, he hasn't been on top like this yet. Like, he's always been on the back. Maybe he's thinking, shoot, get the mount, finish him out. Well, no, he had mount in round 2, too, or round 3. Anthony Smith's dead tired, though. Like, barring all the injuries, or he might be sustaining, like, he is gassed. I think it's the worst shape we've seen him come in, as far as, like, cardio goes.
Yeah, it was definitely like maybe he was hurt in training camp. I don't know.
Or he maybe just couldn't have a normal camp. I mean, he's not a guy who's making $1 million to fight. You know, he's probably training at his home gym. Again, we're not seeing the best of our fighters. Point blank, we're just not. I don't think we got the best Tony Ferguson. I don't think we're gonna get the best Amanda Nunes.
Good God.
These are 2 10-8 rounds.
Dude,
tell you what, though, man,
is jacked.
Both of them are now. His other one's starting to swell shut. Glover came out like a bat out of hell tonight, by the way. Like, he didn't come out like a dude that's just like, you know, here for a paycheck. He came out like ready to finish. he looked good. He looks like he's in shape. He is tired, but he's still here. He's still working.
He's throwing so many strikes.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Glover. Oh man, I would totally love if Glover had like a little tear and then like won the belt. That'd make me a very happy man. See, yeah, Glover's won 3 in a row, and he's won 4 of his last 5.
They have to stop this. He's in full mount, just raining it. I don't know. He blocked him.
His last loss was in 2018 to Corey Anderson by decision. So Glover is not taking a ton of damage over the last few years. Is that the end of the round?
Yep.
Oh, he looks like an alien. Yikes.
Like, for real, what do you like? If you're his corner, like, do you think he's going to come back and win the fight? Best case scenario, he's down. What?
Oh, he got 10-8'd at least in round 3.
40-35 best case scenario. So he's not winning on points.
He got dropped in this round. He got back mounted and mounted. That's, in my opinion, is 2 10-8s in a row. And if I'm his corner, I'm probably calling it a day. You know, there's 2 things that come to mind. One, every time I see a fighter now that isn't at full, I'm always like, oh man, do they have COVID? Because it's a respiratory infection. So it's like, oh,
Sure.
it's like, I always think that. 2, do you think Anthony Smith maybe took Glover lightly? I would like to say no.
More so the training camp didn't go well.
Yeah, I think that's more likely. But you always do wonder whenever you get these old dogs in here, and you know you get someone that has a high opinion of themselves. Like, do they take them seriously?
You're
Especially a guy like Anthony Smith who has finished Rashad Evans and Shogun, and you know. It just feels like we're waiting on the inevitable damage.
Dude, and Glover, you know what, man, is still throwing some juice on those shots.
He's bipping and bopping. He's moving. His head's not on the center line at all times.
If I'm Glover, I just stand up. Keep dropping them.
Yeah. You know, though, some guys are more comfortable when they're tired on the ground, depending on what you're, you know what I mean? Like some guys, when they wrestle, they're out of gas, and when they box, out of gas. And maybe he knows that he can save energy by wrestling with Anthony. Oh, man.
Dude, you gotta stop
these elbows. Yeah, when's the last time we saw someone just win from ground? Oh, great pass. Ooh.
Oh.
Yep, there it is, leg pass. Dude, that's my pass them out. That's my favorite. You fake north-south. Dude,
finally.
Let's go. Old school. Dude, that was beautiful. That was old school UFC, man. That was literally pass your guard, mount you, rain down. That was Matt Hughes-esque.
Dude, props to Glover, man. 40 years old and just
in game. Dana's talking
Dude,
to him.
Isn't he or Glover kind of looks like Dana White's brother?
Dude, Dana's talking to him, man. Dude, all right, what if you do this? All right, because I don't know where Thiago Santos is, but what if you do... I like Glover versus Santos or Glover versus Jan. Dude, that's like Glover's 4th straight win.
I like Glover versus Jan, number 1 contender. You run back Jones, Reyes, as long as Jones doesn't get arrested again.
They already said they're not punishing him because who cares?
Yeah, but there's a good chance he gets arrested this weekend, you know?
Yeah, it's pathetic. Yeah, I want give Glover some time, though. I don't want to see him back in like August. But he's not getting any younger.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I'd be good with like a October fight. September's even a little soon. Maybe October, November-ish.
He didn't take a ton of damage.
Yeah, he's still old as shit, though. I don't know.
You're right.
Whatever. You know, with him, I think if he gets offered any kind of number 1 contender fight, he doesn't care when it is. He's going to take it. Dude, he beat the shit out of Anthony Smith. See him shake his head? Like, come on, man. Look at that. Oof. You block the hip. They think you're going north-south. You step up. I love it. Bam, 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 bam. Textbook, man. Textbook. Fighters really got to stop hugging after they beat the shit out of the other guy.
Like, if I'm Anthony Smith, I'm so annoyed right there.
Yeah, I'd be like, please get the fuck off me, man. Because you're fighting, like, if you win, you double your purse usually. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You can't. But hey, good for Glover. I'm pumped up about that. I think this is the last hurrah for him. And he's won 5 of his last 6.
That's crazy, man.
He hasn't lost since 2018.
I say they vacate the title and they do Shogun versus Glover. Let's see it.
Oh, I'm in. I'm in. Shogun's 4-1-1. We can make it happen.
There you go.
Anthony Smith looked very bad. Outside of the first round, wherever we were both like kind of surprised because he was mixing it up, had a lot of unique strikes. He was throwing some elbows, some really good kicks. But even before the damage, we both thought that he was starting to slow down. So I don't know if him having a higher output it resulted in him being gassed, or if he just because he does. If you watch an Anthony Smith fight, he doesn't usually fight like that. Like his last few fights have not gone like even against Ozdemir. He did not come out guns blazing. He did against Glover. So I don't know if that was him not being able to handle that kind of output, or maybe he knew his cardio wasn't great, so he wanted to try to get Glover out of there quick. But Anthony Smith past the first round looked like Anthony Smith of like 4 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he thought he had blood in the water, that kind of thing, and kind of, put out a little bit more input or output than he originally hoped. I don't know. I mean, Glover worked the body a little bit, maybe that
did, and he hit some vicious body kicks. You're right.
Yeah,
and
dude,
Anthony Smith still has a lot of fundamental holes in his game, whether or not be returning his hands to defensive position after punching or throwing naked kicks. Like those are just things you're not going to, even in a 205 division where the pool is pretty thin, the guys at the top are still the guys who are going to be able to take advantage of those type of things. And Glover did. And Glover out-tech. We said he was a better all-around fighter, right? And Glover, he did it, man.
All right, man. I'm going to get off here.
I'm trying to see if he's going to call anybody out.
You listen to the audio?
Yeah, he just said the PI has him on a great diet and he feels good. Yeah. Get another run for that title.
Good for him.
Oh, that was nice. He got a little last shout out in for his kid. Good for Glover, man. Hey, good. It is kind of a shame because usually you want the young guys to win because that like brightens the future of the division. But for Glover, I'm going to stand for him and say that I support it totally, and I'm happy for him. I thought it was a good fight night. What did you think?
I had fun with it, man.
Yeah, I thought
there were definitely some good fights. Even the ones like Rothwell versus OSP wasn't the most exciting thing in the world, but it definitely wasn't
the worst.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot worse.
Fight, so,
but
all
right, man. Well, you want to plug your show?
Yeah, Mom. Please make sure you watch the Fantasy Network. You can find me there for all your great book reviews. Give it a shot. Slap that fucking subscribe button.
Boom. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm on tomorrow with JD Younger from Central Catholic. I almost said Central Valley. I know it wasn't Central Valley, but from Central Catholic. So check it out, and I will see you then. Later. Peace. It says it keeps us ending.
We're alive.
And we're back. They just literally keep circling.
We never left, motherfucker.
Having trouble connecting, please.
It says we're live now, man.
End broadcast.